Hi, guys. Hold on just 1 second. I am almost there. I swear. Here we go. Here we go now. I am. Thanks for coming, guys. Welcome. I hope you all found your way here after that amazing live from Time Served. I am just going to get that right. I have it right here. I didn't know how much he was going to play. I am ready to go. And I want to hear, firstly, what everybody believes thus far. Whose side are they on to begin with? Let's start there. And then we will see what we got. 1 second. There we go. There we go. Perfecto. This comes here. And also, guys, if this is your first time here, welcome. This is Kitchen Court Cases. We watch court in my kitchen. If you'd like, please post what you're having for dinner in the chat. If you haven't had something good for dinner, post what you wish you had in the chat. We are nice. We have a lot of fun, but we're a little crazy. So just keep that in mind. I am getting this and we're ready to go. Those were awesome videos.
I want to address.
Oh,
it appears that.
Hold on, Mr. Powers. You're not quite ready yet. Almost. I usually get myself tucked right into the court hearings. I'm a little different than Time Served. I sort of tuck myself right in. But we'll see how we can do that. Yeah, we'll do that like that. And then I like to come over here in my kitchen and just sort of hang out. So can everybody, I will check the chat in just a second to see if the audio is working once I get my little kitchen label. I like to be official, just like they are on Zoom, okay? Ooh, okay, before we start, chicken and long rice. I've got yellow watermelon. I've got homemade mac and cheese. Feeling lazy, Miss Bonnie. That doesn't sound lazy to me. Sounds like you're working on getting Mr. Greenwood from the last case. We've got ribeye and broccoli. Autumn. Watching me in the kitchen. Yay! I'm in a real kitchen too, I promise. Anybody new here, please subscribe. Me and Time Served work real close together and we do lots of fun things together. So, Cha, My Crazy Life, everybody, Jesse, everybody here, Jonathan, I see you all. Let me get this playing because I know you guys don't like to wait. Let's finish this off, okay?
Mr. Nelson has someone in the room with him. Is the court aware of who's there with him?
I know they were providing him technical assistance earlier. I'll confirm that they were not intended to be called as a witness.
Thank you, Judge.
And your client does not have anyone with her that, you don't have any other witnesses besides potentially your client and Miss Aguilar, correct?
That's correct, Judge.
Okay. All right, Mr. Nelson, I've been trying to send you a prompt to unmute. Sometimes these things work, sometimes they don't. You'll have to click it so we can hear you. I want to confirm you don't have anybody in the room who you intend to testify on your behalf. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. I knew that yesterday, I know you had to go to a different location just to get access to the hearing. So, and our court team typically will ask that question during check-in, but I wasn't around for that this morning. So, okay. Do you have questions that you think the court should ask Ms. Aguilar?
Yes, I do.
All right.
Today I pointed a gun at her husband. How did it look? What was it? What kind of gun?
All right, Miss Aguilar, how would you describe the weapon?
I couldn't describe it. He had it in his hand. He pointed it at him. I just know it was a pistol.
All right. Any other questions?
Well, I'm trying to figure out what this has to do with my wife and our domestic violence. Period.
there's a section of Georgia code that that essentially other bad acts can be used for the purpose of certain to establish bad acts in question. And so if he has evidence, for example, that you pointed a gun at one person during a situation, there are certain things like motive, intent, or opportunity that it could establish in respect to the case with your wife. So, for example, the fact that Miss Aguilar says you have a gun or pointed a gun at her would, if nothing else, suggest that you have access to a gun. And in doing so, it would be relevant because it makes it more likely. The fact, like, for example, if she said, oh, he pointed a gun at me, and then you said, I don't even own a gun, I don't know how you could prove you don't own a gun, but if you could prove that, then that would negate that claim. Whereas in this situation, they can introduce this witness. What did or didn't happen with Miss Aguilar does not govern whether this protective order issues or not, but it does help establish that you had ownership or access to a firearm.
I don't.
The claim of his case.
The next
But
thing
hang on. I know I'm long-winded and I am pretty boring, especially with my tone of voice, but it's what we're stuck with. So, especially during allergy season. So, you'll have an opportunity to still question any other witnesses. You'll have an opportunity to still testify, and you can deny or refute or provide evidence in whatever form or fashion you see fit to any or all of the things that you've heard, or you can choose to remain silent. But in the meantime, we have the opportunity to question this witness. Do you have other questions that you think the court should ask of Miss Aguilar? I think I've lost your audio again, Mr. Nelson. See if you can unmute for me again.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me now?
I can. Do you have other questions for the witness?
Yes. I'm trying to figure out how I offered you $500 and I have no money. And when did this occur? You're not telling the truth.
Well, we're going to break that down into pieces. So, Miss Aguilar, when did you receive this offer?
Yesterday.
Okay. How was it communicated to you?
In person.
And where were you physically located at the time this discussion happened?
In Lithonia at a mutual friend's.
All right. So those are her answers to that question. As to the other part of it, Mr. Nelson, I can say that it's always possible you made that offer without the intention of following through or without the ability to follow through, because there's not a timetable. Based on her testimony, there's not a timetable that's been placed upon it, like, I'll put this $500 in my hand and your hand. That was not her testimony. So, do you have other questions for this witness?
I do not.
All right. Any redirect, Mr. Powers?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Any reason this witness cannot be excused?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Aguilar, thank you for joining us, and thank you for working with us to resolve those technical issues. I know that took us a while, so we're grateful for your time today. You're free to log off and enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Okay, thank you. You have a good day.
You as well. Bye-bye. All right, Mr. Powers, you can call your next witness.
I call Miss Nelson.
All right, Ms. Nelson, I've sent you a prompt to unmute. I'll ask if you would that you please raise your right hand for me once you have unmuted. All right. Do you swear the statements you make to the court today will be the truth under penalty of perjury?
Yes.
Thank you. You can put your hand down, Mr. Powers.
So just to focus, as the court has instructed on the domestic violence, Miss Nelson, you are currently married to the respondent, is that correct?
Yes.
Has the respondent ever committed domestic violence or abuse against you?
Yes.
On how many occasions would you say?
I'll probably say 10 times, maybe more.
When was the first occurrence? What year?
2000 and 2007.
Okay, and has this occurred throughout your marriage?
Yes.
What was occurring with Mr. Nelson leading up to the events of January the 26th?
Like you said, that
he was on one of those escapades. So basically, there was a person that was staying there by the name of Wayne Daniels. He was downstairs. And basically, 2 hours before I got off of work, James pulled a gun on me upstairs. I came downstairs. I was like, I'm not going to let this go. I called the cops. And basically, when they got there, it was 2 cops. And basically, he was just having a conversation with them. And they was basically telling me that I had to grab my items, I guess for a cool-off period. And I did ask for the keys. And at first, he told the police that he would give me the keys. And then second, he stated that he wouldn't give the keys. And basically, I purchased this vehicle under my account, not in his name. I do have a receipt that I paid.
Ms. Nelson, we're not going to get into any of that yet, as the judge instructed. So my next question is, very briefly, you said 2 hours before you were supposed to get off work. What do you do for work?
I work for Small Business Administration, government.
And what specifically do you do?
I'm a SBA underwriter.
And without elaborating any more, do you pay all the bills here?
Yes.
And so just to confirm, Mr. Nelson pulled a gun on you and you were forced to leave your home and your vehicle, correct?
Yes.
No further questions at this time, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Nelson, do you have questions that you wish to suggest for this witness, understanding that you'll have a separate opportunity to testify yourself? I'm sorry, Mr. Nelson. See if you can click that prompt for me.
Can you hear me now, Judge?
I can.
Okay. Please excuse it. I really don't know what I can say besides it's been the same thing with her over and over. She's trying to circumvent me from having to go through a divorce process, and she's trying to be really smart about it. That's why she's bringing up all this stuff. And to be frank with you, without a long conversation, the police didn't believe anything she had to say because they knew that it was not true. It was that simple. And they did tell her she had to leave. And as far as the gun, story that she's saying right now, please excuse me, because I do have pneumonia as I speak. So I'm not feeling really good because my lights were out, like I said, and it was so cold in my house. I have pneumonia in spots in my lungs right now.
Your Honor, is there a question, or is Mr. Nelson going to be sworn in and testify at this time?
Yeah, let's try to get out what we can. If you need a break for any reason, you can ask for one. If you need to drink water, I always have to keep a cup with me or I start coughing. So, especially from about March to May. So, what questions would you like to suggest to the court for this witness?
You're talking to me, Your Honor?
Yes.
Well, I would like to know if I've been doing domestic violence against her and beating her and jumping on her. She where's any proof of that? And why would she be coming back to me if I'm jumping on her and beating her up and stuff?
Okay, sorry. I just have to step in here for just a second. That's a really bad argument on his behalf because that's just like well known that domestic violence victims take a long time to leave abuse situations if they ever do get that chance. So that's not hopefully going to stick any weight with the judge because it shouldn't really matter. Secondly, hi y'all. If you're new here, please like the video or dislike it. Like, I don't care at all. Also, subscribe. That's very important. We have lots of videos coming. I'll continue on with this. I do like to point out little things in the videos. His kitchen is much nicer than her kitchen. They're both in kitchens. Me too. And also, we have here, she's talking to somebody. Like, who's she looking at right now? She's on Zoom. She should be looking forward. And yet, I'm not even sure what's going on here. Secondly, you may notice in the chat some points that are going on. Those points are handed out for every 5 minutes that you watch the show, plus every plus different things. So please enjoy and participate and have a good time. Let's go.
Stuff, which has never happened.
Well, I'll ask. It's a bit of an argumentative question. I think there's some follow-up questions that are sort of built into that I have. So I'll start here. Miss Nelson, you described this incident. When was the most recent incident that you can recall prior to the incident with the firearm?
There was another one that was done on October 6, 2022. I do have a picture that he hit me with the gun on the right temple of my eye. I do have a picture that I have in my phone that this occurred on October 6, 2022.
And what led up to that altercation?
On that altercation, we went to get some food from, I think, Kingsland Restaurant on Redan Road. However, it took a little bit longer than expected. Probably was in that restaurant getting both of us some food. Probably was in there about 40 or 45 minutes. And Mr. Nelson, when I got back in the truck, he got very belligerent and argumentative, kept pulling out in and out the gun. So basically, when we got down to our subdivision, and basically was going maybe 4 or 5 houses before, he reached out and hit me with the gun. I have a little gash over my eye, and this happened on October the 6th, 2022, and I do have a picture of it as well.
Okay. Did you have, and what's the next most recent incident that you can recall?
In January 2023, I wrote down the dates. I don't have the information from it, but sometime in January, maybe the beginning part, or maybe the second week, that Mr. Nelson put out a gun on me downstairs. We got into an argument. He pushed me in the tub, and he was gonna he pulled out a gun on me. So that's
the one that was being discussed earlier, correct?
This is another incident.
So are you saying that it happened twice in January 2023?
Yeah.
Okay. And so I'm trying to go the other direction. So prior to October, do you recall what another recent incident would have been, or anything within the past year or so?
It's been numerous. I had them written down of the dates that he assaulted me. I don't have the information with me because I'm not there at the home. I'm at another residence. So I've been assaulted by him numerous times. And the reason being is that he charmed his way and say it never's going to happen again. He say sweet things or whatever and do the same thing over and over again. So this time I decided that I wasn't coming back and I'm done and I'm filing for a divorce.
So that hasn't happened yet, but it's in process, so to speak.
Yes.
All right. Mr. Nelson, I know I kind of took over the show here because I had questions that were coming to mind for me fairly quickly, but were there other questions you wanted to ask this witness?
Well, why wasn't the police called when all of these things were happening as much as she likes to call law enforcement? I'm kind of baffled as to if I just hit her with a gun in the head. Why wasn't the
first
police?
Part was a question. The second part is statements, and really it's even argument beyond that. So let me try this. You described incidents from October and January, in addition to the other January incident that we've already talked about. Were the police called about the October incident?
No, the police wasn't called. At that time, I was really scared because, like, he's out of control. He loves to pull out guns, try to be in control. So at that particular time, I took a picture of it and sent it to a couple of people, showing this what happened. So when this did come back around, I did have proof.
All right. Did you did you call the police for the other incident? So you said you didn't call the police for either of those two incidents, just the other one in January.
The last one, the one that was in January the 23rd, he did pull out a gun and push me in the shower. I didn't call. I think that was the beginning of January. When this happened again on January the 26th, I was like, enough is enough. I had to leave in pajamas and slippers. Really like a 5-minute frame. Basically, get out the house. I just want you out. And then he told the other person that was staying there to get out as well.
All right.
So that's when I called the cops and say enough is enough.
Any other questions, Mr. Nelson?
No, sir.
All right. Any redirect, Mr. Powers?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Does the petitioner rest?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Very good. Mr. Nelson, if you wish to testify right now.
Ooh, sorry. I have a few questions for Mr. Powers, though. What is the bar above the TV on the wall behind him? Why isn't he utilizing the mantle? I think that's probably, well, I don't know. I can't see the rest of the design. Those are my questions for now. Also, this is my red flag. Is that sound bar? Isn't that supposed to blend in? You're gonna not tell me that it was meant to be put up high like that and obvious. That's just not how that's meant to be. Yes, it's a Wii sensor bar for his Wii bowling league that he is still in and president of. I am a boss at Wii bowling, by the way, just so everyone knows. Also, he looks like Harry Potter. Next, this is my red flag, which is actually like a, whoa, neighbor, start your motorcycle, which is like actually a silicone spoon. So when I wave this around, instead of usually interrupting you guys, I will just wave this and be like, look, because that's a red flag. And a TV mount without the TV, like I'm having questions again. And then this is not a spoon. No, this is a brush. Just mount it is good advice for most things. Anyways, let's continue on before I get out of control. Again, please say hi to us in the chat. We are nice people, I promise, and we have a lot of fun here watching court together. We definitely do, but we listen to everybody fairly. I am just as rough on everybody, so don't worry about that. I am not responding to that, Daylight.
Understand that anything you say can be used against you in other court proceedings, as these proceedings are potentially being recorded. Is it your wish today that you would make a statement and give testimony?
Yes, sir.
All right, please raise your right hand for me. Do you swear the statements you make to the court today will be the truth under penalty of perjury?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You can put your hand down. What would you like to tell us in regards to these allegations?
Well, what I can say is my wife, she's using every mean and these stories that they're unfounded. I just don't understand how someone could take abuse from another person like that, not call the police, be with this person. I've been with her for 25 years. My wife is trying to paint a picture. She's called every relative I have to tell them all kinds of things, such as I'm this, I'm that, and I'm the other, all just slandering me. I'm facing, a very bad period in my life because I have stage 1, and right now I don't have, a place, where I can go. I have no money. She's been gone for 4 months. I just don't understand how this just came out of the blue. I've just been trying to survive, Your Honor. And I haven't been trying to bother her or be violent in no way, because I see that has gotten me nowhere dealing with her. Because even when I wasn't violent, she was calling the police. She's done called the police 100 times. So I don't know.
Sorry, I think we better re-rack that one. Just a few seconds back, I think he just said, even when I wasn't violent? Sort of indicating that sometimes he was. Let's just listen again and see.
Me nowhere dealing with her, because even when I wasn't violent, she was calling the police. She's done called the police 100 times. So I don't know what to do. I just don't do anything. I don't say anything. Basically, I just feel like all the things that she said are false. They're just false things. Oh, I didn't do any of those things to her. And all she's trying to do is take over the house, take over this, take over that, without going through the proper proceedings. And basically, that's all I have to say. I just want to get my health together and go on with my life and live. Right now, I'm really concerned about living. And basically, that's all I have to say, Your Honor. I mind my business. I don't mess with no one. And I don't even understand why she came up with all this stuff.
Mr. Powers, is there one particular line from the respondent statement that you'd like to follow up on?
I'd like to just put statements into the record very briefly about some of the things that he said in opening, if that's all right, Judge.
As part of argument?
I just want him to be on the record for when we file for her divorce. He's on the record having said these things.
Go ahead, make your record.
Very, very briefly. Mr. Nelson, you let Lana Aguilar and her boyfriend move in after your wife left the home, correct?
No, I did not.
Let's try to ask this slightly different. Did Miss Aguilar reside at the location while your wife resided at the location?
No, she didn't. The thing is, I didn't let them move in. I was just trying to they sleeping in their car. I was just trying to give them somewhere that they could sleep. Now, we started discussing, maybe, them renting a room or nothing, but they really didn't give me any money, So before anything could happen, I could see that it was just going in the wrong direction, period. I don't know if I answered. That's all I have to say about that.
Can you estimate the first time that she stayed at the home?
Ms. Aguilar?
Like, put her head down for the night and slept at the home.
I don't remember. I don't know.
Well, I'm asking you to make your best good faith estimate. You could say, it was probably March. You could say it was in February. You could say it was last summer. Whatever your gut tells you immediately.
It was March.
Okay, so probably around March was the first time that she began to stay there.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Nelson, you stated in your opening that you let these people in because Miss Nelson had taken all of the money. Are you changing that logic by saying that you didn't take any money from them?
No, they never paid. I only wanted help because I didn't have anything. So they never paid me rent or nothing like that. That never happened.
Two more questions, Judge. Mr. Nelson, you stated in your opening that Miss Aguilar and her boyfriend did not know Miss Nelson, correct?
No, they didn't know her.
And finally, you stated in your opening that you did in fact have to remove Miss Aguilar and her boyfriend from your home, correct?
I didn't have to remove them. I asked them to leave.
No further questions, Judge. Thank you.
All right. And Mr. Nelson, you already said you weren't calling any witnesses. So what comes next is essentially closing argument. Mr. Powers, as the petitioner, you have the right to open and close. Would you like to reserve?
Yes, Judge.
All right. So, Mr. Nelson, what that means is you go first, and by law, he's allowed the last word. closing argument is not evidence, just like opening statement is not evidence, but it's a chance to highlight portions of the case that you think are important or helpful to your cause. Would you like to make a closing statement?
For my closing statement, for one, there's no way in the world I could have offered those people $500 because I have not left from this. I have a witness. That I've been with this person for what, a whole 24 hours.
Okay, previous KCC just gave me a heart attack. But don't worry, it's fixed.
Hours, 2 days, and I have not left. I'm all the way in Tequila, and I haven't left Tequila in 2 days. Okay, and I do have a witness for that, and I'm just what I'm trying to get at is this lady's not telling the truth. Period. If she's lying about that, she's lying about something else. She's just not telling the truth, and that's pretty much all I have to say.
All right, Mr. Powers.
Yeah, the person here who lacks credibility is not Miss Aguilar or Miss Nelson. It is Mr. Nelson.
Interrupted, sir, but I need the petitioner to not have any phones in her hand while we're in court.
Did you hear that, Miss Nelson?
I didn't. I need to re-rack that. Who the heck is that? Where are we? Judge Maribel's court? What's her name? What was her name? Whatever her name was would just interrupt all the time. I don't care. I've never heard a court reporter or a court clerk interrupt like that, except for that one in Katrina. Katrina, that's right, Artie. Except for Katrina. They might say, no, they wouldn't. That's just not. I'm thinking about having a bagel, Georgia. I'm not sure yet. Remind me not to have the poppy seed one or else I'll have poppy seeds in my teeth. Anyways, let's go back about that was weird. That's not normal for this court, which I watch a lot, or any really. Let's see here.
And that's pretty much all I have to say.
All right, Mr. Powers.
Yeah, the person here who lacks credibility is not Miss Aguilar or Miss Nelson. It is Mr. Nelson.
Interrupted, sir, but I need the petitioner to not have any phones in her hand while we're in court.
Did you hear that, Miss Nelson? Thank you. So he said in his opening statement that it was because she took all of the accounts away from him that he had to move these people in, and then the rental agreement just wasn't working out. And now suddenly that's changed, and I believe the court can tell, as I can tell, he has someone in the room with him that is clearly coaching him on what he's supposed to be saying. He says, well, why didn't she call the police? Why did she stay with you? These are all statements that somebody who's been through something like this before learned from potentially an attorney.
Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. I thought you'd figured it out. So what happened there was she has another setup going with a computer and a phone and another person. And just before the court clerk interrupted, she received, I think, the phone from somebody and then typed something in or whatever and then handed it back. And the court clerk came on and said, "Excuse me, Judge, I need to make sure that the petitioner doesn't have any phones in her hands," or something like that. I need the petitioner to not have any phones in her hands while in court, I believe is what was said. Because she was literally handing off a phone. So, well, I think, Jesse, that's a good point. No phones in court. What about Zoom? Well, I think she's technically talking about a not in use phone that could be utilized to get information during her court case, which is not okay. Anyways. Thank you, Amy. And I will go back and read your comments from before. I didn't you saw how busy it got. Anyways, so I guess let's continue. It matters only because, well, personally, I think that this is like my feelings on this court, but I believe that this particular court clerk does an amazing job. First of all, let me say that. I believe that she does an amazing job, that she works extremely hard, and that she has read the rules about how and what they're supposed to put onto the YouTubes, and she likes to work very closely within them. So they pull this stream down like 57 times a day, which is more work than leaving it up, which is why it thinks it makes me think that she's doing it because of a sort of like personal vendetta, not against me, but just against people trying to watch the court in general. And then secondly, so along those lines, because she doesn't want people recording court, she really doesn't want that person having a phone in their hand. So I've never heard her agree, or I've never heard her interrupt before. She might be in the chat. If you are in the chat, I believe her name's Shambria, which is a beautiful name. And like I said, does an amazing job. Like, girl, just make your job a little easier. Leave the stream on all day. I won't tell. Anyways, let's finish.
So he's sitting here lying. We're at a preponderance of the evidence standard, Judge. It was uncontested that Miss Nelson purchased this home and later put his name on it. It's uncontested from the testimony that she purchased this vehicle and she was forced out of her home. We have her filing on March 24th for a protective order because this had happened and she needed to get back to her house but be safe in her house. And then after, she's asked for a protective order, but before he is served, these other people have the same incident with him where he pulled a gun. And so is it more likely than not that she's telling the truth about him pulling a gun? I think absolutely. And if this man is going to pull a gun on multiple people, there can be no doubt that without a court order, without this protection, she's likely to be in danger again. So we're asking for the court to issue the protective order for 12 months today.
Well, there was one line of this hearing that was almost remarkable in how much evidence could be crammed into a single sentence. And that was when Mr. Nelson said, even when I wasn't being violent, she would call the police. I don't have a gavel. If I did, I wouldn't bang it. People get to say what they get to say. This is their day in court. But that would have been a moment where we probably could have called things off. And so I am going to extend this order through April 18th, 2024. Now, it will order Mr. Nelson to stay away from the residence outlined in the ex parte order and stay 100 yards away from the petitioner and from her home, her work, and her school. To the extent he has access to any kind of bills or accounts, he is not to tamper with any kind of utilities or services to the home or to Miss Nelson personally. That instruction actually applies to both parties. I don't know what the situation is as far as joint bank accounts or whose names are on what bills as it relates to the household or life in general. But neither party should interfere with those, and they should be paid from joint funds. And I'm making notes as I talk. The respondent will be required to attend and complete family violence intervention and will work with our compliance officer, Mr. Ellis, to do so. He is prohibited from having or carrying firearms or seeking to purchase firearms or ammunition pursuant to federal law. think the main questions we would be discussing out of what remains, Ms. Nelson, I'm going to send you a prompt to unmute. You are still under oath. What vehicles are owned as part of this marriage, or by either party, jointly or separately?
A 2003 BMW, 2010 S400 Mercedes, and a 2012 Range Rover. All vehicles has been paid in full by me. I purchased them.
Hang on, you had that information faster than anybody I've ever asked that question to. I am used to. So it was an 03 BMW and then a 2010 what?
A 2010 S400 Mercedes vehicle, and a 2012 Range Rover truck. All
So
three.
right now, the Range Rover is with him, and the other two are with you.
No, the Range Rover is at the sheriff's department because they grabbed the keys, the house keys, and the truck keys. Investigator Connolly called on Saturday. Yeah.
Okay.
He said I have to pick it up.
So he has the Rover, you have the other two, and Mr. Nelson has no vehicle.
He has the Rover, the sheriff's department, and the other two vehicles at the home. They not working at all.
They're not operational.
Right.
How realistic is that to change in the recent upcoming future?
The 2003 BMW, I believe that a battery is needed. Now the 2010 S400, it's not operational and it costs too much to get it fixed.
That car needs work. Capital W work is what you're telling me.
Yeah.
Okay. So you believe that if a battery were installed in the 03 BMW that it would be operational?
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Powers, I will need you to compile and provide to Miss Goodman from our court team make, model, year, color, and license plate of all three of the vehicles, just out of an abundance of caution. The order would dictate that temporary possession of the Range Rover would remain with the petitioner for the duration of the order. And it would authorize the respondent to essentially, obviously he can't come perform a battery installation if the BMW and the Mercedes are at the marital residence, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So it will authorize the respondent to have that vehicle removed or towed by a professional third party if he chooses to obtain that vehicle, have work done, and get that vehicle operational so that he may use it while this order is pending. Does that make sense, Mr. Powers?
Yes, Judge. Just to be clear on what you need from me, the make, model, year, color, and license plate, are you asking me to also prepare the order?
No, I will do the order. You've been very patient with us through all of this, so I will do that. I just some or all of those I know are blanks on the form. I just don't have the form in front of me, and so in case the sheriff had any questions about that, then I wanted to make sure that I had everything that might be needed on the form to fill in, so that they didn't call back after the fact and then we have to chase down you or chase down your client. Mr. Nelson, if you intend to have the BMW towed, I will ask that you provide 48 hours notice. I'm going to say to Mr. Powers. So can we get information from you that we can exchange to him? And then what would be left for you to do at that point is to just contact your client and make sure that the vehicle is accessible for whatever tow truck or other thing would be coming.
That works for me, Judge.
Okay, and that way that can be done in a way that does not bring him to the property or near the property, because he can, he can meet elsewhere with the tower, supply them with a key, assuming that he has one, or if you've given your client the alert that they're coming for the vehicle. Today's Wednesday, so for example, if he were to say, "Oh, we're coming Friday," in some other week, then she can make the key available when the tow truck comes, so they can, put it in whatever.
Fine, we will finish this absolutely ridiculous ending to this. He got screwed because he told the truth, I guess, or the judge heard it. This lawyer, Mr. Harry Potter over here, whose TV is hung wrong and his mouth is tiny, just like mine, is he should feel ashamed because the judge basically was like disappointed. He gave him the disappointed dad face. He was just like, "I'm sure you want to talk to me about one of those lines there." And the guy was like, "Yeah, no, really, I'd like to talk to you about the beginning." And he was just like, "Really? Wow. Okay, I'm gonna have to hold the law on this one myself, dude." Yeah, okay, let's play that out. While I'm doing that, I'm gonna get the videos ready for the detention docket that was originally planned for this evening. That's what will be coming up next, guys, where we watch old detention hearings from 2020 from Texas, where kids are in trouble. They've done horrible things. We like to vote. We have a fun game that we play. And also, Cachette, I know you can do it. Keeper, Amy, all of you guys going through things. We're thinking of you. We're here with you. That's why we're here. So let's finish this off. Let me get the detention docket going and stick around, guys. We're having a good time. We have a blast in this kitchen, I tell you.
Gear they need and move it accordingly.
Your Honor, would you like me to provide him my cell phone or my business line now? He stated previously that he doesn't have an email or anything like that.
That's a good catch. Yes, please.
Mr. Nelson, are you ready to take down my business phone number?
Go ahead.
706.
No doxing. None. Anyways, guys, 1 second. I will get the next one going. This is a great time to go down and hit the like or dislike button. If you want to, please hit the dislike button. That also makes me happy. Every time I see one, I'm like, that's great. I'm so happy people are expressing themselves. Let's take a look. Part of the reason we watch these detention docket hearings, guys, is because this is how I fell in love with the court, partly. These hearings were happening very often down in 2020. And Judge Kim down in Texas is a hoot. He's hilarious. He's a drama llama. He's a drama llama. And yes, for anybody new here, I am Canadian. I am Scottish, though. I was born in Scotland, but I am Canadian. And I have, but I watch US court all day long. So, there's that. Also, we try and be very helpful and kind. My dad was a jail guard in juvenile detention, so I'm well aware of the struggles that happen and that people go through. So we are not without sympathy, but we try and have a funny spin on things. Also, I do jump around this detention docket, you're going to notice, because first of all, sometimes the kids' parents don't show up, and that makes me really sad. Oh, but this is the wrong one. Kim, not ready yet.
Your camera on. If you're an officer of the court, I understand if you have other business. I do not mind if you temporarily disable your camera.
I am an officer of court, Judge. Be quiet.
No portion of this recording or broadcast may be recorded.
Shh. Talk about that further because I'm in Canada. We're not worried about it. Okay. Let's get going.
right, so this is the detention. Oh, wait, Miss Davis is here. This is the detention docket for the 323rd District Court on December 30th, 2020. In compliance with the Texas Supreme Court Emergency Order Number 30 related to the coronavirus, we're not conducting in-person proceedings. However, we are doing this through Zoom. In order to comply with the Texas Constitution, Article 1, Section 13, also known as the Open Courts Act, we are making these proceedings viewable to the public so they can observe what happens in a public courtroom. No portion of this detention hearing may be recorded, copied, or published. Violations are punishable by contempt of court of up to 6 months in the Tarrant County Jail and a $500 fine. And the court does expect everyone to behave appropriately for court. So please not be laying down in bed in pajamas, in the bathroom, taking showers, with domesticated animals across the screen, conversations with other people, or bright lights in the background that shadow your face. I specifically mentioned all these examples because they have all previously occurred. Ms. Moreno, you cannot be driving a car while you're in detention here.
Mr. Kim, just one time, I have to multitask because my daughter has a specialist appointment for her breast. We found a lump on it. So just this one time, I mean, they both
Moreno, I am not going to let you drive a car in the rain while attending court. There is no one time for that.
Give her the phone when I picked her up. I'm on my way to get her now, just so I don't miss his appointment. And I can't miss her appointment. Her appointment is very important, too.
And that is fine. If you need to go to the appointment, you need to go to the appointment. But I can remove you to this hearing. I'm not going to watch you get in an accident while on Zoom.
Would I be able to?
All right, Ms. Davis, I know you arrived late. Just want to let you know, we did the under 14s before we started. So I went ahead and detained her, and I started a placement search for her, Ms. Davis. So just so you know what's going on. Of course, if you'll sit here and watch, you're welcome to. But if you need to leave, I understand. Brandy Rideau, please turn on your camera. Caleb and Samaria, please turn on your camera.
Okay, guys, because there's so many new people here, I want to give a little bit of an overview for the way that Judge Kim's court works, because it is a little different than some of them that you may have seen. Firstly, this is not an adult court. This is a juvenile detention court, which means that there's no entitlement to bond for a juvenile, and the determination of whether or not they should be detained or not is actually made with the best interest of the child, as in, are they a danger to themselves or others, and do they have suitable supervision at home? So what we see often is Judge Kim is actually assessing the parents who come in. They come in this box sort of right here. You see the juvenile parent room. They sometimes come in there. They sometimes come on Zoom. But Judge Kim is very different than other judges in the way that he closes the courtroom after a certain time. Like when it starts, it starts. If you're late, you're not in. He is just absolutely perturbed by people being annoying on camera, which just is juicy for us. So the other thing is there's levels that these kids have to get in the detention center that they're at if they're going to be released. The level systems are 1, 2, and 3, 1 being the best, 3 being the worst. You can be O for outstanding, A for acceptable, and then C for confined. So when you come into the chat and you say, I'm a level 3C today, that means you are a bad girl. And if you come in and you've had a level 1 day, that means you're doing good. So we also, this little voting thing down here, we like to vote in the chat. You can change your vote as many times as you want, and you can vote as many times as you want. We're all about learning and changing opinions here. So just put whatever you feel. And let's continue.
Robert Lee, please turn on your camera. Caleb and Samaria, this is your last chance. Turn on your camera. Mr. Lee, please sit still. A moving background is distracting to everyone. All right, I'm removing camera and Samaria. Caleb and Samaria. Ms. Rideau, I need your face on the screen. This is still court.
He is a
So
Zoom, please
appropriate
catch
for the
it.
last day of 2020. your last warning. You cannot move around while you're in a court hearing. All right, Peyton Demerson. This is a detention hearing. You're in the Tarrant County Jail. You've been here for 10 days, so I'm reviewing your case, deciding whether to keep you here or not. If I keep you here, you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Your attorney is Ms. Uzuihe.
I'm here.
All right, and we have certification hearing on January 7th. All right, so Mr. Demerson, so you're 17 years old. That's why I'm holding you downtown. This is this guy, I guess, riding a bike, and he's saying that you came up to him, threatened him. He previously knew you because he had evidently robbed you, or he's saying you robbed him before. In March, we'll release you on electronic monitor to go to your grandmother's funeral, and because you did well, we let you stay out on the monitor, but in May, you cut off your monitor and ran. And then September, there was a call of a robbery at, I think, the Whataburger, or Walgreens. So, where they're saying that you forced him to go to the ATM and withdraw money because he didn't have enough money on him. And so you have adult charges. So, Mr. Demerson, I feel like if I was to release you, you'd be a danger to the community or yourself, and that you may not appear in court because of your prior EM removal history. Mr. Demerson, if you have a question for me, I don't think Mr. Uzuihe minds if you ask. If you want to tell me something,
I understand my attorney, so.
Oh, so if you want to tell me something, I think she wants you to stay quiet.
Yes, Your Honor, can you send us a breakout room, Your Honor, please, if you have a minute for that?
I just need to ask my attorney, so.
So if you have a question for me, I don't mind answering the question. If you want to tell me something, this is not a trial. This is about detaining you or not detaining you.
I know, I'm trying to tell her that can she come see me before my next court date?
I will already. I know that I will see you.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Demerson. Sheriff, thank you very much for bringing this inmate.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mrs. Uzuihe. All right, Ms.
Oh, last thing that I'll add about the levels is that you can't. Oh, two things. Never mind. I'm never ever going to say the last thing because I'm not going to stop talking. That's the way it is. But you can't be a level 1C. Like level 1 is the best. So you're never going to be confined if you're a level 1. But the reality is that the things that you get docked points for in detention are very minute. It could be as little as looking at the wrong person or speaking out of turn, being overly playful, things that you would expect children to do and things that you would expect children with a lot of behavioral issues to be really, it's just normal kid stuff. It's not like some of the crimes that they got put in jail for are bad, but a lot of the stuff that they've done to get to their levels are very minute. And that's like not standing up fast enough. Exactly. So you have to keep that in mind because it's a bit of a litmus test to see who can behave on the outside versus the inside. And you'll often hear the judges talk about behaving as a level 1O outside as well as inside. DNA, they'll talk about a do not associate order. So they'll say you can't look at this person in the jail or whatever. And they'll say, if your mom says do not associate, do not associate. Anyways, let's continue on and see how we go.
Ms. Tennyson, please keep the bright light from behind you because it shadows out your face and you just cannot see who you are. Dewan Adams. All right, do we have a parent for Mr. Adams?
Yes, Mom is here.
Mom's here, okay.
Are you saying Dewan Adams?
Yes.
Okay, yes, sir. His mom should be in the courtroom.
You're walking in, Judge.
Great. All right, Mr. Adams, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. When a kid's brought in, you have to see a judge within 2 days. I have to decide whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you here, the law says you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. And Mr. Willett is your attorney. Good morning, Mr. Willett.
Good morning.
All right, so Mr. Adams, you have no history with this department. You're 14 years old. The Arlington PD said that this morning about 2 o'clock, there's a stolen vehicle parked at Parks Mall. Martinez tried to stop the vehicle, but the driver began to evade through the parking lot. Entered the frontage road, struck another occupied vehicle. After getting on the highway, the driver went up to 100 miles an hour while weaving in and out of traffic. Exit South Bowen, lost control, hit a light pole, another vehicle, caused major damage. Adams told the police that he evaded the officers because the other occupants told him to. Adams, the driver, and 2 other juveniles, when he went to jail, gave a fake date of birth. His grandmother called and gave the correct date of birth. The other juveniles were released. See, parents here, she's saying that you were staying with your biological father for Christmas. He gave you permission to stay with a friend in Garland. They have no idea how you got to Arlington. So, Ms. Turnerhill, the other juveniles you had said you wrote in here, there's no history with this department?
No, sir. They don't have any history. One was 13 and one was 14, but I checked in JCMS.
Okay. All right. So, Mom, you're here. Where do you live, Mom?
I live in Fort Worth.
You live in Fort Worth. Do you know the people he was with?
No, sir.
Are you dad or are you stepdad?
Dad.
Okay. So, where's the father?
He's not here.
And I'm telling you.
Oh. Appropriate. Yeah, I'm not comfortable releasing him, Mom. When he's going that fast, hits 2 cars with people in it. And he's doing this because kids are telling him to, but you don't even know what kids he's with. I think he is just not going to accept your supervision. I know you may think he's a good kid, but everything that I see so far indicates that he's not. So I'm going to keep him here for now, see how he does, see what his behavior's like. Mom, does your son do drugs? Do he smoke weed?
No, sir. My son don't have problem until he asked me, can he go spend time with his dad for the holiday break?
So he doesn't get in trouble at the house, sir. It's when he leaves to go to Dallas over his dad's house is when he gets in trouble. As long as he stays at the house, he never gets in trouble at the house.
Well, my question then is, if he gets in trouble when he goes to Dallas, how come y'all keep on letting him go to Dallas?
It's for the, I guess, the custody rights or whatever. So,
okay, so dad has possession.
Yeah, so I came to, talking to her, was letting her know that, hey, we don't need to let him over there no more since he always getting in his trouble over there.
Right, okay. Well, if there's a court order about custody, then you have to follow that court order. If it doesn't work out, if it's not working, then you have to change that order. Well,
Your Honor,
yes?
I have a question. If you put him on a leg monitor and told him he couldn't leave the house, would you have precedent over the family court as far as child custody goes?
That would supersede the family court possession schedule.
I would suggest maybe that would work too.
I'm not sure even that court.
So, Mom, what are his grades like?
It's not a court order. I've been taking care of my son from since he was born.
Yeah, but then tell me, what are his grades like?
He grade?
Yes.
He grade. He just finally go back to the school the 2 weeks before the Christmas break. He might not be the best student, but he's trying. He's still on the C of A and B, some of them, but he tried.
So you're still not telling me what his grades are like?
He's an A-B average student. So.
A-B, but Mom was just saying C.
He gets some C.
He gets C's every now and then. His grades are good. He doesn't. His report cards are A's and B's. Man.
Look, this is where I'm at. I mean, part of me, he has no history of the department, right? We've kind of identified the problem, and the problem is dad. And I'm balancing that out with the fact that he's in a stolen car at 2 o'clock in the morning, back in Arlington, with 2 other juveniles, and potentially killing other people going 100 miles an hour down Interstate 20 in the rain. Right? I mean, you understand, like this, it's just so over the top. Like, it's hard for me to understand how he's a good kid, because good kids don't get in stolen cars, drive 100 miles an hour in the rain, and crash into somebody. Right? I mean, that doesn't make sense. That's not good kid behavior.
I don't say my son was right, but sometimes kids do make a wrong choice.
That's under somebody else's supervision.
Yeah, it's not with us.
That is not
right. But I understand. I'm not saying the supervision's good or bad. What I'm saying is he is making bad decisions. Right? That's the problem. Is at a certain point when you decide to get in a stolen car, at a certain point when you decide to run from the police, you get in an accident, you keep on running, you get on the highway, you go 100 miles an hour, you put people in danger, you get off, and you hit another car with people inside. Like, there's so many bad decisions along the way. That's not about supervision. That's about him. Like, he just keeps on stacking on top of it. Right? I mean, you see where I'm going with this, right? I'm not saying that y'all supervision is poor. I'm saying that he's, certain kids just can't accept supervision. And I'm just wondering if Dewan is one of those, where he just refuses to accept supervision.
Never had a problem with that, though.
I'll tell you what, Dewan, I can detain you for now. Get to level 1-0, and I'm willing to release you on the electronic monitor, but that is not to go to the father, right? You must live with mom, right?
Okay.
But, and Mr. Willard, I'm doing this because I'm just wondering if there's a problem where he's not, obviously, mom and stepdad may not be telling me the truth, but I just want him to prove to me that he can follow the rules. And that's why there gets a level 1-0. If he can follow the rules, then I have a little more confidence. If he can't follow the rules, then we'll know, and we'll realize it's a bigger behavioral issue. All right, that's my reasoning behind this, Mr. Willard. Hopefully you see the rationale.
I do, Your Honor. I see.
All right, Dewan, you know what I expect from you, Dewan? Oh, Mr. Turnerhill?
I'm sorry, did you want him to maintain it for a certain period of time, or just once he gets it, he's eligible for release the next day?
No, just on Monday, if he's level 1-0, because he'll have 5 days that he'll have to maintain it. So that's, normally I would say maintain it, but just because of the holiday weekend, I'm not putting that on there. Dewan, do you understand what's happening?
Yes, sir.
So did I explain the levels to you?
Yes, sir.
All right, so you've got to follow all the rules, and if you don't, then you just stay here until you prove to me you can follow the rules, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, Dewan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Victor Alvarado.
He'll get released Monday if he maintains his level. So that'll be up to him.
Your Honor.
Yes.
Did want to let you know we have members of the victim's family participating on YouTube this morning on Alvarado.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And I also will be coming from P.O. Castillo, Victor.
Well, all right. So, Victor, this is a detention hearing. We've had these before. You're 17 years old. You've been here for 264 days. So, this is the one with the...
There are two cases, Your Honor.
Right. Back in April, there was a shooting, people dispatched, person dead on the scene, and a witness said she heard a boom, and then saw a vehicle. A male witness said that people playing basketball, there's an argument. The next day, after the argument, same people came back, shot the victim in the chest with a BB gun. And the next day, they came back, saw a truck pull up, shot from the vehicle. Person was shot in the chest, came in the house, died in the car. So, vehicle matched the vehicle from the surveillance from the day before, so they went up there. And one of the suspects said that Victor drove up there. He saw Victor with a gun in his hand, and confrontation. September, somehow you're released, but we released you, and victim and another person were walking at a park when they saw Victor driving a silver truck shoot them. One person was shot in the leg, and they knew Victor because they went to the same school.
Your Honor, may I interrupt? There was never a release of him from custody. There was just some confusion with the police on filing the second case.
Oh, okay. Oh, it was April 30th. All right, that makes sense. All right, yeah, so it's just a case that came in late.
Yes, sir.
All right, Victor, I absolutely believe if I was to release you, you're a danger to the community as well as yourself. And so I'm going to go ahead and detain you. You also have history. You were on probation for burglary of habitation, too, at the time. So, yeah, Mr. Youngblood, where are we looking at this one? Do we have a date set for something? Certification, January 7th.
Yes, sir. I'm not clear on how that's going to be accomplished. We can talk about that another time. The family does want to make a request for you to release him on an electronic monitor. I recognize that's not likely, but they've asked me to let you know that's their request.
Right. Yeah, Victor, I understand your family wants to be released on monitor. I'm not comfortable. Your access to guns and your pattern of behavior, and the fact that you're on probation and you committed a new offense just makes me think if I was to release you while this case is pending, you would commit another new offense. So I'm going to go ahead and detain you. All right, Victor, do you have any questions for me? Victor, do you have any questions for me? Where's the child?
Sir, I thought you were finished. I let him walk out.
I'm sorry?
I thought you were finished detaining him. I'd let him go back to class.
Oh, how much did he miss?
Just right now, just the last part that you just said about if he had any questions.
Well, I can tell you, Your Honor, he might have some things he'd like to tell you, but he doesn't have any questions. He understands what's going on. And he's waiting for Mr. Bumberg and I to discuss with him at some point in the near future an offer.
Okay, so security control. So did he hear, was he there with the camera on when I said I'm detaining you?
Yes, sir. Yeah, and I thought that was it. So,
okay. All right. Well, as long as he was there for me to tell him that, that's fine.
all right, sir.
All right, thank you. All right, the next one is Robert Lee. You have a waiver form? Or is it? All right, Mr. Lee, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. When a kid is brought to our facility, you have to see a judge within 2 days. I have to decide whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you here, you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have a right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. And we have appointed Ms. Hopkins as your attorney. And I guess we do not have a parent here.
Your Honor, we do. Mr. Robert Lee is participating via Zoom.
Oh, we do. Okay. Where's the parent?
I'm right here, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right. Robert, you've never been here before. See, Mansfield PD brought you in today. See, they were working several cases with stolen vehicles and bins changed out and sold with a fake title. Yesterday, they're following up with a Silverado truck listed on OfferUp, believed to be stolen. So they contacted the seller, said it was for sale, they can meet up. They also noticed the vehicle had been sold, and they were able to locate the buyer, the vehicle and the unsuspecting buyer. The correct VIN showed it was stolen on Baytown. The title was fake. When they searched the vehicle, they found a cell phone placed there so the sellers could track the vehicle, steal it back, and resell it again. And so the cell phone was taken, placed in another unmarked vehicle, and there's surveillance set up as a local shopping center. So a title with damage appeared to drive slowly through the parking lot. license returned to a different vehicle, so there's a traffic stop. The driver evaded vehicle, speeding and running red lights. Officers discontinued pursuit, but was checking the neighborhoods near the last location they saw and found the vehicle. They found 3 subjects a block away, contacted them. Robert Lee was one of them, and 2 adults. One of the adults had a key to Tahoe, and Lee had the keys to the stolen Silverado. He said they were all from Houston. There were 2 more people in the car. A resident had video of the suspects exiting the vehicle, and a female also. Female adult was found in the area. She said one of the adult males asked if she wanted to make some money, that they were driving around looking for a vehicle they sold yesterday so they could steal it and sell it back. He's 15 years old. All right, so Mr. Lee Sr., are you in Harris County? Are you in Houston?
I'm in Harris, yes, sir.
Okay. So what's your son doing up here in Tarrant County?
I do not know. He spent the weekend with his friends. I'm a single father. I have 2 other children. And he spent the weekend with his friends. He's the only boy in the house.
So he spent a weekend with friends here in Fort Worth or in Houston?
No, in Houston.
So how long was he gone for?
He was gone 3 days. And like, it was okay because one of my other daughters, they had them a best friend Christmas as well. So I guess he was wanting to hang out with his friends for Christmas. Like, our family is small, so I let him go hang out with. I know the parents of who he was hanging out with, so it was okay.
So have you talked to them since you found out?
Yes, sir.
So what reason did they give you that Robert was gone?
They said that him and Daniel, he has another friend that he was with, that I know him, and I know the family. And I guess they split up. One went to his girlfriend's house, and I guess Robert, I don't even know who these guys here are with. I don't know exactly.
Okay, Mr. Lee.
I don't know the names of the people he's with.
But you're not, Dad, you're not answering my question. You said he could go to his friend's house. He left the friend's house, ended up in Fort Worth. But you talked to them and you asked them, hey, when did he leave your house? You're supposed to be watching him. What answer did they give you?
The day before Christmas?
No.
Or the day like it was morning Christmas. They both left.
And they didn't call you to let you know that your son left?
No, but my son called me, so I didn't think anything of it.
And he just lied to you about where he was?
Yes, sir.
All right, does your son have juvenile history in Houston, in Harris County?
Not that I know of.
Okay, what do you mean not that you know of? Like,
cause he had gotten a little trouble when he was younger, but I don't think they didn't do any charges or anything on him. They just had him come pick him up.
Physical, mental.
Oh, Mr. Junior, I'm not talking to you. Dad, what kind of trouble are we talking about?
Like, he had an episode where he wasn't on his medication or whatever. So basically, they were trying to get him to take his medication. I was too, and he ended up going to the hospital. But the police was called out first, and then it's a crisis intervention team that came to get him and take him to the hospital, and he stayed there for probably like 3-4 days.
So what's he taking medication for?
Bipolar. He lost his mom when he was younger, so it's like he had depression as well. But it's bipolar depression. Something I don't know to be exact. I can go get his meds if you want.
No, Miss Aguilar will need, or Miss Aguirre will need.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to sound rude, and I'm not. This is a terrible story that this child. Pardon me. Getting totally choked up about this. No, I'm not really. It's a terrible thing that this child has gone through. It's terrible that he's lost his mother. It's terrible, unfortunately, that he's being failed right now by this parent who doesn't seem to be up to date on his pretty significant mental health issues, obviously. So it definitely probably is the reefer. Anyways, but yes, let's continue. If I know that we go late, I'm West Coast. It's only 8 o'clock here. It's not even dark outside. But if you go have a sweet dream tonight and have a good time, um, yeah, let's continue on. Tomorrow is 420, folks. Please keep that in mind. Thank you for reminding me. Okay, let's keep going. I feel for the dad, but I also just, yeah, you know, red flags.
The medication. When's the last time you saw a doctor?
Probably like 4 months ago, 5 months ago.
All right, Dad, just so you know, with juveniles, if they have mental health needs, they need a doctor at most every 6 weeks, okay? Because their brains are changing, and so they need more supervision than an adult would from a doctor.
Hello? Hello? Yeah, good morning. How are you? I'm good. Yeah, well, who am I speaking with? Okay, Debbie, okay. Yeah, is it the one that will have that has the dog bites? Okay. I'm in a hearing right now, so if you can speak quick before they call my case, what's going on? Uh-huh. Okay, so what, I mean, are you talking about in reference to your...
Suzuwe, hey, you're not on mute, by the way.
It doesn't matter, you know, even if you don't have paper, that doesn't mean that you cannot...
All right, so Mr. Lee Sr., I'm going to go ahead and keep your son here. And
Right, that's...
I'm going to do order a psychological or psychiatric evaluation for him.
Okay.
I'm going to order a psychiatric evaluation for him so we can see what's going on with his mental health. The fact that when he's down there and he runs away, it gives me concern that he's not going to appear back for court. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and keep him here until we can figure out a little bit more what's going on. So, young Mr. Earl or Mr. Lee, decisions have consequences. So you made some choices. I will let you know now, this is not Harris County. I'm very familiar. I'm friends with the juvenile judges down in Harris County. And I can tell you their philosophy on things are very different than me. And so we do not have like a catch and release system where everyone gets out. I have to be comfortable following the law, which says that I have to make sure you're not a danger to yourself or to others and that you're likely to return to court. Right now, I feel like you are a danger to yourself as well as to others, and that you are not likely to return to court. I'm sorry?
For what though? Like, why you don't think I'm gonna come back to court?
Because you live in Harris County, and your dad let you go to a friend's house for Christmas.
I'm sorry. Judge Kim, this child just whipped out a question. First try, day long, we have seen adult after adult unable to formulate a standard question for somebody. And this child has just done it. So he's just gone up a few points in my mind. Anyways, Judge Kim just said he's friends with the other juvenile court judges, but they don't get along. Like they don't have the same philosophies or something. Anyways, this is funny. I think we should give credit where credit is due. H-pod kid right there. Just seriously, I have watched so much court today, and every single adult has been told, ask a question, and he didn't even have to be reminded to make it a question. Like a real question. Why do you believe that I am not going to return to court? That's a very good question. It's bang on target in terms of what they're talking about. It's not trying to figure out other. It's well crafted, sir. Anyways, let's go.
Christmas, you ran away from there. The people that he trusted to provide care for you did not tell your dad that you ran away.
I didn't
You
run
were
away.
calling your dad and lying to him about where you were. So when you're asking, why do I think you're not going to come back to court, is because you're lying. You're a liar. That's why.
But I'm gonna be at home. But like, boom.
No, you're a liar. So I can't trust you. Once you prove yourself you're a liar, then you're a liar until you prove otherwise.
Excuse
So when
me,
you say I'm going to be at home, I have no reason to believe you. If you'll lie to your dad, I know you'll lie to me.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
It was. I'm not making an excuse for. It's no excuse for what he did, or him even being down there. But it is a discipline system here. We do discipline here. The only reason I let him go is because of the quarantine, the coronavirus. He hasn't been out like that. So that was the only reason I even let one of my daughters go. So that.
So Dad,
he is supervised like that's.
Dad, I'm not blaming you because I think everything you did was very reasonable. You gave him some time to spend with friends over the break. You did it with a trusted individual that you thought was responsible. The fact that they lied to you about where he was, or that about letting him go, right? And the fact that he ran away on his own and he called you and lied to you about where he was and got involved allegedly with all this up here. I mean, your son's a liar. And so until you prove.
I told the truth about where I was at the
All
moment.
right, so Mr. Lee, either you're lying or your dad's lying. Which one? Are you going to throw your dad under the bus and tell me he's a liar?
Boom. Can I talk? I can talk real
Well,
quick.
that's a question. Answer my question.
Huh?
Answer my question. So which one's a liar, you or your dad?
Like me, but like.
Okay, so you're the liar. That's why I'm not
Because
listening to you.
boom,
You're the
look,
liar.
I'm finna tell you right now. Like, can I?
Sir, Mr. Lee, this is your attorney. I strongly suggest that you stop speaking at the current moment.
It's something dry here, bro.
Allow you and I to have a discussion, all right? And let the judge finish up, all right?
Yeah. So, all right, Mr. Lee. Well, we'll see you in 10 days. Let's sit him back down.
Come on. Hey, young man, come on. Just have a seat.
So what was the last thing he said?
Why are you doing this?
Oh,
Why?
I didn't even do nothing, bro.
You shouldn't even be down there.
Bro,
You shouldn't even be down there.
I will tell you what.
You shouldn't be mad at nobody but yourself. You shouldn't be down there.
Young Mr. Lee, I can't tell you how much I like your dad. He is stepping up and doing. How many of your friends don't even have dads in their lives? And he's stepping up doing all this, the sacrifices that he makes. And this is the disrespect you show for him.
I didn't even do nothing. I barely got picked up this morning. That's what I'm saying.
So, I have seen a parent yell at their kid like that. And this is, if you recall, if you go back to some of my first detention docket videos, I have a list of like 5 things that you can do to make Judge Kim like change his mind about you. The first one is you need to be extremely mad at your kid. You and the judge are now a team, and you are against the kid. Secondly, get cameras in your house. Cameras and door chimes. Talk about how you're going to lock their door with a door chime alarm so that you get woken up all the time. Thirdly, you need to know their friends. You need to know their grades. Fourthly, and you need to know where they got their weed. That is the 5th thing, okay? If you know all of those things, if you can execute all of those, you will successfully hypnotize Judge Kim into releasing your child. It is his one weak point. I've been watching for years. I swear to God, if parents came here first, I could get them so set. Seriously, there's serious, like, this guy, you think every time a person freaks out in court like that, they're getting in trouble. But he did the right thing. He didn't freak out at the judge. He freaked out at the kid. I'm sorry, but this is inappropriate. The judge has already put this kid who probably has, do we think he might have bipolar disorder? Questionable diagnosis. But also he probably has something like anger or some delay in his cognitive abilities in order to be at the age appropriate level. So already this kid has been triggered. And Judge Kim relishes in bringing triggered children back to make them perform in front of him, basically. And again, open invitation, Judge, you can come to my kitchen, explain how I'm wrong, do it. Because this child, when I first heard the dad yelling, I thought he was yelling at Judge Kim. And I thought, oh, okay, like, that is not going to go over well. But then I realized he's yelling at the kid, and that does go over very well. Oppositional defiance disorder, which is something that I was diagnosed with as a young child, let's keep in mind, is two ways of having or there's multiple ways, but the main pathways are generally behavioral, like this is how you're born and this is how you will be. And then there are also kids that get parented into that by inconsistent parenting, not necessarily always the fault of their parent, who may be young, who may be mismatched to the child. There's a whole host of reasons why that might happen. However, the thing to remember is that oppositional defiance disorder is not a disorder found in adults. It becomes conduct disorder when criminality is involved as an adult. That's the defining feature, I believe. And so, while oppositional defiance disorder is a childhood disorder, many children do not continue on that way because they are out of the parent situation and able to manage themselves in a different way. So, I feel a lot for a lot of these kids when they come in here. I feel for people in court all over the place. The woman that time served had, who was lying on the bed, I get it. But like, I've had attitude like that before, and it's hard to get rid of. If you don't know how, and you've been like an arguer your whole life, it's hard to back down. Anyways, I was diagnosed with ADD at 27, so I went 27 years not really knowing, but there's no Discord for me. I'm in time served Discord. I just lurk there. I'm going to ask him to make a little kitchen page for me so you can send recipes and stuff. Anyways, let's continue. But I think that we should keep in mind that this is a dangerous move to make with Judge Kim. This is a Hail Mary, okay? This could work or, go broke. So I don't know if he's been watching. Maybe he watched and analyzed like I would do. If I was going in front of a judge, I'd be doing all the research I could. Anyways, as we continue.
You didn't barely do nothing. You're caught in a
Yesterday
stolen
morning,
car
I got
ring
picked up at
with
3 in the
you in a
morning.
stolen car in a county 4 hours away from where you're supposed to be, and you didn't do nothing.
I barely got picked up yesterday.
It doesn't matter when you got picked up. Why are you even here? You're not supposed to be here. Man, it's not, everything's relative. It's an absolute right or wrong. You're not supposed to lie to your old man. You're not supposed to lie to your parents.
I didn't lie. I told him where I was at.
You're not supposed to be stolen cars. You're not supposed to be with other people committing felonies.
I told him where I was at, then I came over here. It's all like,
Hey, you do have to behave. Behave yourself. Now, hey, it's the consequence to everything you do. I can't baby you through this. This is what happens when you mess up. I can't baby you through this. You got to stand on your own 10 toes. I'm here for you. I love you. I'm here for you. But cussing the judge out, no, that's not going to get it.
You got to listen to your old man. Your pops, he's a righteous man. I will tell you that. He stepped up far beyond what I expect normal fathers to do. And you know what? You may not like him. You may not like what he has to say. But there's a nugget of truth in there. There's a whole lot of truth.
I didn't even do nothing. I just tried arresting me, bro. I was in the car. I was just riding.
This is your problem, right? What you don't understand. When you say I didn't do nothing, the fact that you left Harris County is the problem. That's where it all started. You're not even accepting the fact that you screwed up by leaving Harris County.
All right, I know that.
You screwed up by violating your dad's trust.
Why am I here?
He let you go to your friend's house, and when you left, you broke his trust. And because your dad loves you, he'll look past that, and he'll give you another chance. When you're dealing with a judge, I don't have to look past that. I don't have any love for you. You're another kid in the system that I'm trying to do my job and trying to help. But at the end of the day, your dad will give you 100,000 million chances. And he'll keep on giving you chances because he cares about you. Right? But the court, that's the law. The law doesn't love you. So either you shape up and respect the law and respect the rules, and that means the law says you have to respect your father and follow his rules because you're a minor.
Bro, this is
until you're 18.
Either
you do that, or you're gonna have trouble with the law for the rest of your life. See, you're too busy talking, flapping your gums that you're not even listening to me. There's two types of people in this world: those who listen and those who wait for their turn to talk. And you're not the kind that listens. So is there any other choice words you want from me before you stand up and pout and storm out like a 2-year-old?
Yes.
What are your choice words?
What's the reason of me being here?
Because I don't trust you. I don't trust you.
I understand that I'm supposed to be at home, but like, boom. I barely even know these people, but like, it's because I was with, like, that's Homeboy's brother. The one that was driving, it was Homeboy's brother.
See, and Mr. Lee, you don't even understand. The problem I have is you lied to your dad and you ended up in Fort Worth. That's the biggest issue right now about you returning to court.
But I'm going to return to court, bro.
I don't know that. You're a liar.
I'm coming to court.
I don't know that. You're a liar.
Excuse me, Your Honor. I can vouch that he can come to court. My mom's from Ennis, Texas, Waxahachie, Fort Worth, and Dallas. So I'm real familiar with the area as far as I used to go when I was little down there. He can get to court. It's 4 hours away.
I understand. Mr. Lee, Sr., I can't tell you how much respect I have for you and how much confidence I have in you trying to do the right thing for your son. My worry right now, my concern, is that your son is just too smart for you or me, that he's too wise, that he knows better, he's going to do his own thing, and we don't know nothing. That's my problem. He's got this attitude, Dad, that you and I, and we're inconveniences in his life. And I'm not going to put up with that. That's my concern right now. So he needs to have an attitude adjustment. He needs to show me he can behave, follow structure, follow rules, and respect the system. And then I'm okay releasing him. I don't want to hold him here forever. But with this attitude that he has right now, if I throw him back with you, he's going to give you the same attitude. If he'll treat a judge like that, how's he going to treat you?
Yeah, that was like beyond, like, I don't know what you thinking, Robert, but that man right there holds the key to your freedom or you being in there. I don't know what you thinking, but I don't even care beyond that. He's an adult. You owe him an apology. You owe him an apology. He's not the reason you in there. He's doing his job.
Your old man, he's a righteous man.
But it's all on you. It's out my hands. I did my job, right from wrong. I did my job. It's out my hands. I'm here for you. Whatever you need, whenever they say I can come get you, or if I have to come visit you, I'm here for you. But it's out my hands. You got to make it to, you're at a level 2, you got to make it to a level 1 or whatever. Don't go make a bad situation worse, because it can be.
Mr. Lee,
that's all I got to tell you, man. I love you, man.
Dad, if you were in the courtroom, I'm
here for you. I love you.
Step down and shake your hand right now. Your dad's right. So, all right, Mr. Lee, we'll see you in 10 days, and we'll decide what to do with you. Thank you. All right. Montez Otis.
Yes, sir.
Okay, folks, that was something to witness. You need to mark that in the calendar because that's what usually goes. I wish it was. I absolutely wish that every child had a parent who came and showed up and cared and did that. maybe this kid was just mixed up in the wrong thing and that's what happened. Unfortunately and sadly, very, very often you'll find me moving my space over to the parents' seat when it's empty because they don't show up. It breaks my heart. I'm a parent, I have a child, and I think it's devastating for these children in their absolute time of need when their parents aren't able to come. And I'm not judging anybody because everybody has their own situations and hardships. But what I know is that it makes me try and be a better mom any way that I can be. And I hope that it makes you try and do better to those or for those around you. It takes a village and a community. And what I always say to people when somebody will ask me, how would you avoid these types of problems or what do you do? I'm a huge advocate for investing heavily in early childhood education and intervention with families as a focus so that literally the amount of money that we spend housing and detaining these children, if we put that into the early childhood education and intervention for parents and families, we would be in a very different position. But by the time a child is already into the system like this and at this age, there is a very low likelihood that they will ever exit the system properly. But it's not impossible, and it is not something that we should ever discount because it can absolutely happen. And also, I think that it's important to recognize that not every parent has even the ability or knowledge to do that or to know to come to court and do that. And that's where we come in as a community. I mean, it literally wouldn't matter as much to me. I live in Canada and things are very different here. But, when younger children, it's just the thing. Talking about, these types of situations with friends and family that have kids, reaching out to parents that are new parents, just talking to new parents, that's really important. Anyways, I will stop talking and will continue to let Judge Kim gush over this guy who said, if I was in the courtroom with you, sir, I would get down and shake your hand. And remember, this is 2020, so this is that was a big thing to say. I will disregard public health authorities and shake your hand. Anyways, let us continue and see what else we have tonight. Also, if you see anything fun in any of the squares, let me know and I'll always go take a look.
All right, Mr. Otis, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. You've been here for 10 days, so I'm reviewing your case. You're 16 years old. You're level 1 outstanding. You have been for 2 weeks. Glad to see that. All right, so yeah, this is one where you cut off your EM and you were gone for about a year. And so you're on probation for aggravated robbery using a deadly weapon. Ms. Young, what do you think?
Good morning, Judge. I'm covering for Ms. Young.
All right, Ms. Parks, are you familiar enough with this case to give me a recommendation?
I'm going to defer to the court, Your Honor. I do know that Mom was contacted this morning and she said she would be at the detention center, but I do not see her there.
All right, so Ms. Parks, if you can go back on JCMS and look at his history. He's level 1 since December 14. How far did he drop down?
Just a second.
Walking in now, dude.
He's been level 1 since December the 14th, level 1 outstanding.
I know that, but how far did he drop down?
He dropped down to level 3 outstanding on December the 10th.
Why level 3?
On December the 9th, he was at level 3 confined.
Why?
Secluded near peer altercation.
Do we know what the altercation was about?
On December the 8th, he was placed on DNA due to a near physical altercation in the classroom.
Mr. Houston, we're in negotiations right now. Is the state looking to restore supervision or for commitment?
Judge, I have never once got the opportunity to speak with the state about this case. I do know this. For 56 days, Mr. Otis has been in custody. From my knowledge, he's been in and around level 1 outstanding the entire time. And the young man literally calls me every other day. He's begging, pleading to go home. He's going to do what he needs to do. He's had a child born since he's been in here. He just wants to get out and see his kid.
Ms. Parks, what's he on probation? It's a determined sentence. How long is the commitment? What's the exposure on the aggravated robbery?
His determined sentence until March the 12th, 2023. I do know, Your Honor, he's scheduled for court on January the 20th at 8:30.
But how long is his commitment potential for? What was his actual sentence that was probated?
Let me look. I'm looking.
Judge Kim don't like to wait.
I could be wrong, but he was scheduled to be off. But when he absconded, that's what extended the probation.
Right, but so when he got the probation, there's a certain number of years that he was committed that was probated. How many years was he committed for?
Your Honor, may I jump in?
May.
I'm looking at the notes from the court hearing. If it was on September 12th of last year, it was a 10-year period of confinement probated for 42 months.
All right, Mr. Otis, 10 years is the longest possible commitment that you can be probated for. So what that tells me is the aggravated robbery that you're probation for was a very serious offense. All right.
Yes, sir.
So I am actually, you're behaving, you're level 1O. You have that hiccup almost a month ago, but I'm actually considering releasing you. I want to, can we get the jacket, Stephanie? I want to look at the, Ms. Parks or Mr. Ainsley, can you give me a copy of the social history that was used at disposition?
Yes,
so I can look at that. I'll make a decision. Mr. Otis, depending on how serious the crime itself was, that'll make my decision on whether to release you on monitor or to keep you here. Okay? So that's, at this point, as long as it wasn't that serious, then I'm okay putting you back on the monitor and releasing you until your court hearing. But if it was, I mean, if it offends me, if it was that serious, then I'm going to keep you here, okay? But you're at this point because you earned it because of your behavior level. So I'll let you know. I'm considering it. No promises, right? I'm just letting you know you've convinced me by behaving to review it and look at it carefully. Okay? All right. Thank you, Mr. Otis. So right now I'm detaining you, but I'll get that jacket and look at it. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. Aubrey Sarno.
In the back lobby.
I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. The law says when the kid's brought here, you have to see a judge within 2 days. I have to decide whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have a right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. We have appointed Mr. Adler as your attorney. Is Mr. Adler here today? Okay, so Ms. Hopkins is going to step in. Good morning, Ms. Hopkins. All right, so Aubrey, you're currently on probation. Well, no. You're on deferred prosecution just 2 weeks ago. Mom says you've pretty much broken every rule, and we issued a warrant for you. So you were brought in for assault, family violence. You're here for 21 days. Finally got to level 1 outstanding, so we released you at monitor. And that juvenile put you on deferred prosecution and kept the monitor on you. And Mom says that okay, so I guess she ran away, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, well, Aubrey, you can't ditch your monitor and run away while you're on deferred prosecution. So do we have a parent here?
Yes.
Hi, Mom.
Hi.
Okay. So, Mom, thank you very much for cooperating with us, talking with us. I'm not giving up on Aubrey, right? This may be a process. She's only 14, so we have years to work with her. So, but at this point, you cannot be on DPP, cut off your monitor and run away and not have a consequence. So I'm going to go ahead and detain her, right? And so we'll review the case and figure out what the next step is. All right, Aubrey, decisions have consequences. This is the consequence of your decision to cut off the monitor and run away. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and detain you. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Decory and Titus. All right, Mr. Titus, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. You've been here for 10 days, so I'm reviewing your case. If I keep you here, you'll see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Ms. Taylor is your attorney. Good morning, Ms. Taylor.
Good morning, Your Honor.
I'm sorry. I don't like to make fun of people's names, but he sounds like a disease. Decorian Titus? Anyways.
All right, so Mr. Titus, you're 16 years old, and let's see. You had a case back when you were, I guess, 13 for evading arrest, then nothing. Then earlier this month, police conducted a traffic stop, smelled weed from the car, everyone got out. Behind the front passenger seat where you were sitting, they found a backpack that had 2 firearms, and you had a warrant for murder. Back in September, there was a shooting. Found a victim who had been shot, and he was pronounced deceased at JPS. The witness gave a description of the suspect vehicle, found 9mm casings in the street. And the police had the real-time crime center cameras. Looked at the owner of the vehicle. See, there's a witness said that the suspect. Well, police say he had picked up Decorian and Ture, drove by the victim's house. And the first time Ture fired shots, second time Decorian fired shots. They're all members of the Blood Gang. So, all right, well, Mr. Titus, do we have a parent here, Mr. Titus?
We do. Yeah, Judge, and actually he's got a lot of support. I've gotten letters of recommendation from coaches and teachers. It's my understanding he's been level 1 outstanding the entire time he's been in the detention facility. As far as this information, it sounds like uncorroborated co-defendant testimony. State hasn't filed anything. The only thing that is available to me on TextShare is a 2017 criminal evading, but it was.
Ms. Taylor, you said the state hasn't filed anything. They haven't filed a petition yet?
No. I don't I don't believe so.
Ms. Blair, are you here?
Your Honor, this is Selena Aguilar. I'm covering for Arlene Blair.
Yeah, can you check to see if petition's been filed?
Yes, Your Honor, I will check. Your Honor, the only thing I see was filed to the prosecutor by Officer Blair on December the 3rd, but I don't have any court dates or other hearings.
So there is a petition filed.
It was referred to the prosecutor.
Okay, no, I mean, I need to make sure there's a petition filed.
There's not.
No, Your Honor.
Judge Kim has very, very strict standards about the expeditiousness of justice, if you will. He lowered the times of CPS cases so much in the jurisdiction when he first took over that they actually ended up taking them away from him because he was just like blowing things of the like all the cases we hear often you'll hear like them talk about time limits, and there's a year limit, a standard in Texas at least for the CPS case to be concluded or extended for extenuating circumstances at that point. And almost all of the ones that we see are always pushed out. But Judge Kim went on the other sort of end of the spectrum. He was like, hey, we got like 6 months. Let's get these kids out of the system. And then also he has real concerns about like judicial timeliness. So this is still playing. I'm just talking over it. He's reviewing this file to ensure that it's properly dealt with. And he does not bother. He's not worried at all about making people wait. No, nah.
4 days for the state to have a petition filed. If not, then you will be released. All right. They have 30 days from the time you're brought in. 30 days from the point I first detain you for them to file a petition. They haven't yet. They haven't, as a matter of law, must release you. Okay. So that's disturbing, but the law gives them 30 days. All right. So we'll see. But yes, on this is Mr. Gary. You're covering. Who's your supervisor? Is it Mr. Ansley?
My direct supervisor is Douglas Ligon. However, David Ansley is Officer Blair's direct supervisor.
All right. If no petition is filed tomorrow at 5 o'clock, you get released. All right. Mr. Titus, do you have a question, or you may want to quit while you're ahead?
I need to talk to Ken. You can call me.
Yes, sir. I will call you this afternoon.
Okay. Yeah, because 30 days happens over the weekend. So, all right. Thank you very much, Mr. Titus.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I be excused?
Yes, Ms. Keenan. Happy New Year. Ms. Taylor, Happy New Year.
You too, Judge. Thanks.
Rudy Valley.
Judge, be advised that young man is currently under quarantine, so you'll be talking to him through the door.
Okay, that's fine. All right, Mr. Valley, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. You've been here for 10 days. I'm reviewing your case, deciding whether to keep you or release you. If I release you, you see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Mr. Green is your attorney. Mr. Valley, if I remember correctly, that you were released on EM for unauthorized use of motor vehicle, and it turns out that contacted your sister, you stole her car, you cut off your monitor in November, and Stephanie, what are the nuts? What did happen at the detention hearing? I remember something happened. Oh yeah, he wouldn't speak to me, so at this point, you're behind the glass, so I don't even know if you're speaking. Do we have a parent here, Mr. Valley? No parent.
Your Honor, this case was set for a trial with you, a bench trial.
Okay.
On engaging organized crime on December 8th. It did not happen. Mr. Valle did not appear for court. You issued a directive to apprehend him.
That's right. He didn't show up to he was invited, but didn't appear. So. All right, Rudy, so I feel like if I let you go, you would not come back to court because you missed your own trial. And then on top of it, your attitude is pretty bad. So I'm glad to see you're level 1-0, but we will see you in 10 days. Thank you, Mr. Valley. All right, Mohammed Ahmed.
Yes, sir.
Yes. All right, so Mr. Ahmed, I'm Judge Kim. This is a 10-day detention hearing. Reviewing case, deciding whether to release you by keeping you see a judge every 10 days. Your attorney, Ms. Hopkins, is here. You do have the right to remain silent. So, let's see. December 15th, Dad calls that you weren't at home. Didn't come back till 11:30. And school sent you to alternative education, but because you were skipping, you're supposed to go there for the next 3 days. When you tried to take you there, you refused to go inside. Spent an hour refusing to go inside. He was trying to take you in. Eventually took you home because he had to go to work. And yeah. You had EM violations, curfew violations. And we brought you in, you're positive for weed. So you have a pending, you're on probation and you have you're smoking weed, skipping school, not listening to your dad. So Dad, good morning.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm all right. Well, you deserve better. Your child's supposed to respect you. And if you're there taking him to school because of his mess ups, because he can't go to his normal school, he's refusing to go inside, he knows better. You raised him better than that. I know you, Dad. So at this point, he's got to show me his attitude is fixed. And at this point, I don't think his attitude is fixed. So besides, if I was to let him go, school's not even in session. So I'm going to hold on to him a little bit longer. We'll see how his behavior is. We'll see if it's time to release him. Are you, Dad, are you able to talk to him while he's here?
What did you say?
Are you able to talk to your son?
Yes. I love him. I just need him to just at this time going well in his school because he's almost 16. That is all I need from him.
No, what you need is for him to listen to you and respect you.
Yes, of course.
That's what he needs to do.
Yep.
And I am waiting to show me that he can listen to adults and respect adults. And that way I'm comfortable releasing him back to you. Okay? Mohammed, do you have a question for me or do you just want to tell me something?
Yes, I want to tell you something.
No. Your attorney doesn't want you to tell me something. If you want to ask me something, I'm okay answering, but she doesn't want you to tell me anything. There's nothing you can tell me, okay?
I was just trying to let you know that I'm...
No. That's, again, letting me know is telling me something. This is not about a trial. This is about detaining you. You disrespected your father so much that it's got me angry that you need to prove to me that if I let you go, you will respect your father. That's what I need. That is what you need to do. That's your job, is to respect your father. And if you're not going to do that, then I'm going to keep you here. It's that simple. Okay?
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Mohammed. Ryan Daoud. Or Dahl.
Dahl.
Okay. Hello, Mr. Decker.
Hello, sir. How are you, Judge?
I'm doing well. It's good to see you. I kind of miss all my colleagues downtown. We would see each other every day for 15 years, and all of a sudden.
Well, right now we're not seeing anybody, so it's nothing personal to you, right?
That's true. All right. So let's see. Ryan, I'm Judge Kim. This is a 10-day hearing deciding whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you see a judge every 10 days while you're here. I think, is that maybe your mom coming in?
Yes, and Granddad.
And Granddad. Okay. Great. So, all right. So, you have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Mr. Decker, your attorney is here. All right. So, Ryan, you are on probation for burglary of a building, which you received in November of 2019. And then, let's see, November issued a warrant for you for removing your EM because in June you cut off your EM and we issued a warrant. So it took 5 minutes to pick you up. And let's see, that was only 4 days after you were released by Judge Terry on the electronic monitor, so you could have a psychological assessment in the community instead of keeping you here for it. So she kind of gave you some grace there. It looks like you burned Judge Terry. So you're on probation for burglary of a building, and there's a transfer disposition for deadly conduct. So let's see, Mr. Miller, help me out with this one. The deadly conduct case, what are the facts of that?
Judge, that occurred in Parker County. They adjudicated him on the offense. I believe that they were shooting assault rifles, and one of the bullets struck a neighbor's house. Apparently, they were with some adults that were allowing them to use it. I think it was an AR-15. And so, because he lived in Tarrant County, they adjudicated him, but we were still waiting to dispo him on that offense.
Okay, and you cut off the minute monitor while we're waiting on disposition. And he absconded for 6 months. All right. Then that answers my question. So your mom and granddad, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so who does he live with, mom or granddad, or both of you?
Well,
We
both
live-
of us, we live together.
Okay, good. So why was he in Parker County back then?
I lived in Parker County. I recently went through a divorce and I've moved back in with my father, kind of getting my life together as well, along with as Ryan's.
Sure. So why was he in Parker County on that date with the shooting of the guns? Was he living with you in Parker at that time?
Was.
Okay. Who was he with when he was shooting the guns?
He was with friends out back. I was giving my youngest son a bath at the time.
Okay, so is that your home or your homestead over there? Yeah. Okay. You live, I'm assuming, in a semi-rural area, probably several acres kind of thing?
We had 3 acres, not enough to be shooting guns on. Absolutely not.
So which adults were supervising him at the time?
He was not supervised by an adult at the time.
Okay, so he just got, whose weapon was it? Do we know?
My ex-husband's.
Your ex-husband's, okay. And did your ex-husband maybe give him permission to, or he just kind of took the gun and started shooting?
No, I believe he got my keys and got it out of the safe.
Oh, okay. All right. So now there's allegations while he was on the run after cutting off his monitor that he was on social media posting pictures of himself with guns. All right. Do you know anything about those pictures?
I do not know anything about the pictures, no, sir.
Okay. You don't know anything about what kind of guns? Mr. Miller, what kind of guns was he on social media with?
The picture that I was sent by was an assault rifle. He was posing with an assault rifle.
Okay.
With another young man.
Okay. Mom and Granddad, I want you to understand that I am very pro Second Amendment. I believe in our right to bear firearms if we choose to do so. I understand that children do not have that right. It's only adults that do. Okay. So I have a big problem with children with firearms. That's a big problem here, not only in Tarrant County, but in Parker County and across the state and country. So I'm extra cautious when children have access to firearms that we're not aware of. So I am somewhat comfortable with the gun involved with the deadly conduct because we know where that gun came from and we know how to remove him from the situation. My concern right now is subsequent pictures with the guns. I don't know how much access that Ryan has to firearms. So you can't tell me like those pictures, like where those guns came from or anything like that?
I believe they came from his friends because between my father and I, we don't have any firearms at all.
And he was living in Tarrant County at the time when this happened with the social media pictures?
He was on the run during that time, sir. So I'm sure he had access to friends' weapons.
Right.
And
So when you say he was on the run, where was he? Do you know?
he was between a lot of different places. We never knew exactly where he was with friends, other adults that were helping support him. We don't know.
Okay, so that gives me concern. And please don't think of me as adversarial on this one because I'm really trying to do what's best for Ryan, just like you and your dad are. So when you say adults were kind of caring for him, what kind of adults are these that would take a 16-year-old boy in and just provide for them?
I don't know, Your Honor. I don't know what Ryan told the adults. I don't know what kind of adult it was. I don't think it was a parent that knew the full scope of the situation, obviously, that they were helping harbor a runaway. Some of them were 21-year-old kids, still kids themselves. So it was just a dynamic situation that was out of control.
Sure. Okay, now he was referred for a psychological. Does Ryan have mental health history?
I believe so. He has been diagnosed with depression in the past. I think it goes further than that. I'm still waiting to see what his psych evaluation revealed that he had done here.
Mr. Miller, have we performed the psychological evaluation yet?
We have, Your Honor. It was conducted on the 23rd. I have not yet received that report back.
Okay. All right. So this is what I'm going to do at this point, Ryan, is I see your level 1 outstanding, and you have been since November 27th for over a month. And so I'm glad that you're doing that. The fact that you have been behaving opens the conversation for me to consider releasing you. If you were level 2, I would not even consider it. Okay. So now we've done the psychological. Now I'm going to lay this out for you. Had you done the psychological and not run off, we would already have the results back, and I would have the information that I need. The fact that you ran for so long, that is why this is all being delayed. It's kind of your own fault that we're in this situation. Okay. So I'm going to wait to get the results back so we're comfortable. I'm going to warn you. So one thing about me is, while a lot of kids back there.
One thing about me is, and then I don't know the rest of the song. If I did, that would be so perfect because he just like introed into that perfectly. Anyways, orders up in the kitchen or order into the kitchen. We need to make some spring rolls ASAP. So I'm getting on that, folks.
Consider me a little bit tough. They also consider me fair. I don't think anybody back there thinks I'm unfair. Okay. So I want to be straightforward with you and treat you with respect and let you know if the psychological comes back and I'm not comfortable and I also order a psychiatric evaluation, that is going to delay this process a little bit more. But we didn't order the psychiatric because there wasn't a need yet. If the need arises because of the results of the psychological, your release will be delayed. If your psychological shows that there are issues that we can address and that it eases my concern about releasing you, then I will release you. Okay. So I'm just kind of, yes, Mr. Miller.
Actually, we did I think we did order a psychiatric consult.
Okay. That has not been performed yet?
No, because the request was made right before the holidays, and Dr. Menchaca told us that it would be some time.
Okay, so Ryan, that's good news, actually. So that kind of speeds up the process. I guess one of the other judges found a reason for the psychiatric evaluation. And so we don't have to wait to order it and schedule it, and that delays it. So this kind of speeds it up because it's already been ordered. All right, so I want to see the results of the psychological and the psychiatric. Make sure I'm comfortable releasing you. Obviously, you have access to firearms, which you just found out is a big concern for me. Right? I'm also very concerned when there's mental health issues combined with firearms. That can be a recipe for disaster. Okay? I'm going to let you know if your psychological or psychiatric recommends and prescribes medication, your release will be conditioned upon you taking the medication. If you fail to take the medicine, your mom will let us know. I have no doubt your mom or your grandpa will let us know that you're not doing what you're supposed to do. Obviously, I can tell they're very respectful to me as the judge, and we will bring you back here to make sure you take your medication. Just to give you a heads up, it's entirely possible I will hold you here until you prove you can take the medication and it's well balanced, that you don't have any bad side effects. So that could delay it a couple days or a week or so. What I'm trying to let you know is I'm trying to find a way to get you out of here, but I can't give you a date. You could have little hiccups that delay the date from time to time, but I don't want you to forget the fact that I'm trying to find a way, okay?
Yeah.
Ryan, do you have any questions for me?
No, sir.
Okay. Mr. Decker, do you have any questions for me? Does the plan seem kind of clear?
Yes, the plan does seem clear. My understanding was the psychological was back, and that came back maybe between. I thought I had an email that said that it was back but not yet released until staffing next week.
Okay, that's entirely possible, but we would still be waiting for the psychiatric anyways.
Yes, of course. I'm just, yeah.
Yeah, just filling in the blanks. I understand. Mom and Grandpa, do you understand what's going on?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You understand why I need to be comfortable because there are weapons involved.
Yes, sir.
Right, and hopefully that, as residents of Tarrant County, that makes you feel a little more comfortable too, knowing that this is my philosophy.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Ryan. Hopefully we will not see you at the 10-day hearing. We'll have more information before then, but it is entirely possible we will have another 10-day hearing. Okay, just to give you a heads up, that could be happening. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Decker. All right, Mr. Dickerson, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. You've been here for 10 days, so I'm reviewing your case, deciding whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Mr. Adniji, I believe I saw his name.
Yeah, Judge.
Good morning, Mr. Adniji. Mr. Adniji.
Judge.
His camera may not be on, Mr. Dickerson, but he can hear what's going on. All right, so, Caleb, you are not on probation. You're at a group home, and this is where you started. They called police at the group home. They said that you were assaulting residents and had a knife. Police came there, saw you had a knife, and the home's van with the window broken out and a folding chair on the ground. They threw the knife at the police. Or you threw a knife at the police and were detained. The nurse said that when you woke up in an agitated state, you started hitting one of the victims in the arm. She shut her door and called the police. Then you started assaulting other residents. One 64-year-old male who was cut several times on the top of his head with a knife. Another victim was struck in the head several times. Another victim was struck in the face several times. And they're all disabled, and two of them are nonverbal. And after assaulting the victims, you went outside, broke the window, so you were transported here. All right, so do we have somebody from Metro Care here?
Your Honor, she was sent the link this morning. She told me yesterday she was going to sign in, but I don't see her.
What is her name?
Paula Reed.
She said she couldn't join in.
Oh, well, there was a Paula Reed that joined late, like 20 minutes late. So
That was probably her.
when
Your
they're late
Honor.
to court, I generally don't let them in. Well, so did they give you a report? Were they able to find a placement?
No, when I talked to her late last week before the Christmas break, she says that they were still trying to find a 14-day respite care for him, but there wasn't any availability, and she said it would be difficult to place him. So we don't have anything right now, and even if he goes to a 14-day respite care, there's not a plan for his discharge at that point. Like,
What is, you know what his current legal status is? Is he a ward of the state?
I don't believe so. I don't think CPS is involved anymore. Mom staffed him through CRCG. Mom lives in Dallas County. She lives in Garland. And she staffed him through CRCG. And then Metro Care kind of stepped in, and that's how they got him placed at the group home. But Mom does want him in an RTC. And I don't know how much Metro Care is looking for a placement right now or not.
Okay. So at this point, what we're going to do, he's been here for 14 days, and we are not an RTC. You know, I know they think the child is safe, so they don't look as hard. So I think you need to call Metro Care and let them know that if they don't pick him up by end of business today, that we're going to make a referral to the department for a wrapper, and that's the department needs to pick him up tomorrow. Okay, you may want to call the CPS and let.
So I'll just pop in here quick for a moment because there are some acronyms and terms that Judge Kim is throwing about that are important to understand here. So firstly, when he talks about an RTC, that's a residential treatment center. And I've talked about this before. They are very, very difficult facilities to run. The children are very, very high need a lot of the time, and it's not a lucrative business. And well, it is and it isn't. It's not lucrative if you pay proper employees that are trained and well prepared to deal with these types of teenagers, but then it's not very valuable. And so there aren't a lot of residential treatment centers that are run properly like that. What you'll find is they constantly say we're on a search for a residential treatment center, which is because there's only very few of them all over the country that accept children that are this high need. Now, the problem is that oftentimes they have very not qualified people running, young people themselves running these facilities. just sort of with weird iron fists, and there's been nightmare stories that come out of them afterwards. So it really is a concern of mine. And it goes back to my prior point, which is I believe that the cost of an RTC per person is in the thousands of dollars at least. I really would not be surprised at all. I, again, urge you to think about the cost because these kids get sent to these RTCs for 6 to 9 months. So a residential treatment center is, specifically for juveniles in this context because it's for like a treatment within a criminal context, but you can send a child to an RTC through insurance or by just paying for it. And then also those are different slightly, but not good either. And then the other thing to keep in mind is that, again, these RTCs often have really bad reputations. There's like a few in Iowa, Wyoming, like middle of nowhere places. Anyways, the judge sends these kids to these places a lot of the time, and they are sort of housed there. They're lockdown facilities a lot of the time, so they aren't able to leave. If they're not locked down, then there's other sort of rules and regulations. But it's better than being at the detention center where things are even more hyper strict. So again, my dad was a juvenile detention officer, like a jail guard in a juvenile detention facility that had murderers in it, children that had murdered other people. And after he did that job, he worked as a intensive support supervision provider, which is somebody who works with a kid when they've recently been released from prison and they're at a high risk to reoffend to prevent them from reoffending. So I'm well aware of the intricacies and difficulties of dealing with children and but the issue is families. And that's where I think we fall short, is that when we try and deal with a kid, we really remove the fact that this is a family issue. And again, if we go at the beginning in early childhood education and early childhood intervention, the ranch CRD, then this money, if you can imagine, let's just say there's 10 kids that are there for a month, and that's $2,000 a day, which is nothing. So that's 20, that's like lots of money. Somebody do that now. Anyways, just imagine if you put that into early childhood education intervention programs that are really hands-on, that are not so judgy, that are not CPS, roundabout tables where people are just going in and out the roundabout. I think that the reality is, people need different levels of help. Absolutely. Oh, that reminds me. So the second acronym I was going to address is WRAPPER. So what Judge Kim is about to address here is the fact that this is the second type of a WRAPPER case. Before this, on this live stream, we've witnessed a WRAPPER case. So WRAPPER stands for Refusal to Accept Parental Responsibility. And they tend to come in two formats. So the first format, and the more common format, is a parent who is actively involved in their child's life, has been working their butt off to exhaust all available resources and to try and get them help and get them back on track. But they have literally come to the end of either their insurance rope or their literal rope in what to do. And so they approach the state CPS and say that I have an inability to care for this child safely. I need help. And that then becomes them having, what legally has to happen in that case is they have to refuse to accept parental responsibility. They are held now in the same category as what we're witnessing here, which is a child where this parent is not showing up. They're refusing to accept parental responsibility by default because they are not there. They are not engaging in the process and dealing with the situation. And this, in the same way, triggers a CPS case with the same title, Refusal to Accept Parental Responsibility. It's a different sort of way, but it's the same sort of case. Both of them often result in a child who gets sent to a residential treatment center or an RTC. And I used to think it was wrapper, like WRAPPER, like a wrap around case, because I'd only usually heard about it in the context of giving extra support to a parent who was really coming to CPS saying, hey, I need some help, which is very, very different than the standard CPS cases that we see. And that's why it's important for parents that are thinking about going that route. If they're having difficulty with their children, you really need to consult with an attorney. That's really, really important, because there are implications when you go to CPS and involve the government in the care of your children. And sometimes it is the only option, but this is the way to do it in a proper way. So again, those parents, though, tend to be the ones that have been on the, and these are maybe kids where this is not anything to do with parenting or even difficulty parenting. It's a real issue. But that is very much less likely than the general behavioral issues that we often see uncovered here to these things. Anyways, I'm like droning on and on. I got to make some spring rolls here. I can hear the oven going. Yeah. So Judge Kim is going to ask about calling CPS soon because this child they've not had contact with the parents. So it starts with the parents approaching CPS to ask for help, and it then will go forward in different ways. The reality is CPS has very strict guidelines in how they can provide help at what levels based on the level need of a child. So when a child is in a parent's care, they're very much more hands tied than they are when they have temporary managing conservatorship of that child. So the funding streams are different. The rules and regulations of how they get assessments done is different. And so when a child becomes so what often happens when, and this is probably the tip off, if I could say there is one, when you have a wrapper case where the parents are JMC or joint managing conservators with CPS, that's a very good indication that the parent did not have any sort of wrongdoing in the CPS case, but that they came to them for help. On the other hand, if the child is in the temporary managing conservatorship of the department and it was initiated by a wrapper case where the parent didn't show up, well, that's a problem for the parent to begin with. Like, that's a legal problem. Whereas even though they're used the same mechanism, and that's why I say you really need to talk with an attorney, because you can walk yourself into some difficult situations here without knowing it, and when you're just asking for help. So I urge anybody that is going through that just to look into that and ask for help from legal people, because obviously I'm not a lawyer. I'm sitting in my kitchen making spring rolls from Canada, rambling about US Texas court that I for some reason know a lot of. Woo! Also, please subscribe. It's fun here, I promise. It's not all like this. We do lots of different things.
Let them know that this could be happening. But they've had, I think I remember this one, we've given them 2 weeks to find a place, and that's their job, and they need to find this place. But they can't just place a child with us because they can't do their job. All right?
Okay. So you want MetroCare to accept custody by the end of today, if not call CPS, correct?
Yes, let MetroCare know that the judge expects them to pick up this child by the end of business today. And if they don't, then tomorrow we'll call the department and say they need to pick up this child.
Can I say something?
Yes. Who are you?
I'm the mom.
Okay.
But could I come pick him up by the end of the day?
Are you able to provide care for him?
Ma'am, sir?
Are you able to provide care for him?
I will. I don't want him in CPS custody because they're not doing their job.
Right.
That's not fair.
And MetroCare dropped the ball on him too, Judge.
Yes. Oh, no, I agree. And that's why I remember this one at the detention hearing, because MetroCare said, I told them actually, I told them less than 2 weeks. I gave them a shorter timeline, and they haven't done their job. So that's why I'm telling them they've either got to pick up this child or they have to deal with the consequences of not doing their job, and the ramifications. So
But Judge, if the mom still has the custody, I mean, can he not go home with the mom?
Mom, you're telling me, one, that you're willing to accept responsibility for this child? You are?
Well, it just everything has just been unfair for my child, and now because Metro Care,
We're not going to that part. My decision right now is very focused. I need to make sure that you feel like you are safe if I was to release him to you.
do I feel safe?
If I was to release him to you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Well, if that's
And Judge actually he's been level 1 outstanding since he's been back there. I spoke with him.
No, he's been level 1 outstanding since today, so he dropped yesterday. I don't know for what.
I didn't know that, Judge.
Okay. So, all right. So, Mom, and you understand that you're responsible for bringing him back. And if you do not bring him back, I could issue a warrant for your arrest. Is that correct? You understand that?
Oh, this is.
So, if he runs off, you have to understand there could be a warrant issued for you. You have to be able to say, I accept that. I'm comfortable bringing him back to court. And it's a tough choice, and this is why I was going CPS, because Ms. Turner was saying that you thought RTC was the best place for him. And I agree, but if you're stepping up, you kind of interjected and said that you would like to take him, I need to make sure that you understand this could come back to you. So you have to be confident about taking it. One, about your safety because of his violent behavior, and two, about your liability if you do not return him to court when he's supposed to. I'm not saying it will happen. I'm saying it could happen.
I know.
Mom, the judge is not putting you in a straitjacket. The judge is just trying to do the best for.
I understand, but it's just a terrible situation. It's just not fair.
I agree.
I'm not.
You have the IDD and you have the autism. So I understand. That's why that's why I'm trying to make it clear to you, Mom. Okay. You've been watching. You notice I didn't ask any other parents this.
Yes.
I'm just, you seem like a really nice lady, and I don't want to put you on the spot.
I've been trying my best. So if Metro doesn't pick him up, he will be going to CPS care.
For their placement into an RCC.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna. Well, I'm sorry. It's just a hard decision. I'm not gonna take the risk. I hate for him to go in CPS, but he haven't had a fair chance. I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry. This is not about you.
I know it's about him.
It's not about Caleb wanting to hurt you or anything. There are just certain things beyond his control. And that's the hard part for all of us to recognize. That there are things that that's not his fault, but he just can't control himself.
And this may be the only way the agencies will do their jobs.
Well, we spend a lot of tax dollars on these programs. And it's always disappointing when they don't do what they're supposed to do. I mean, they have a job. If they can't do their job, they need to go to the legislature and say they can't do their job. So, all right, Caleb, I'm glad you're level 1 outstanding. Because if you weren't, I wouldn't even be talking about releasing you. But now that you're there, I'm trying to find options. Trust me, Caleb, I do not want you here. I don't think this is good for you. I don't think you belong here. But the law kind of ties my hands on a bunch of things, and this is one of them. So, but hopefully, I expect you to be out by tomorrow one way or another. Okay?
Thank you, Judge.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Appreciate it.
Chloe Azel.
Judge,
Yes.
we're waiting for a psychological to be performed, and Chloe has really nowhere else to go. She's doing really well. She's on level 1. I believe she's been on level 1 the whole time she's been there.
For 5 weeks now.
Yeah.
Almost 6 weeks. Good job, Chloe.
She does really well, and unfortunately, Zoe, this is really good and it's really bad all at the same time. It's a sword. But you do great in here, which is good. And the judge appreciates that. And I appreciate that. But at the same time, it's like you do good when you're in strict supervision. So.
Yeah. So, Chloe, this is a detention hearing. You've been here for 10 days. I can decide whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you have to see a judge every 10 days. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to attorney. Miss Abels was there. Chloe, I think Miss Abels is dead on. It's when you're in a very structured environment, you do fine. But as soon as you get a little bit of freedom, it seems like you kind of abuse that and just go overboard. And not just a little bit, but like way too much, right? So we have a psychiatric evaluation ordered. I want to go ahead and wait for the results. I hope you understand. I need to find out more information.
I haven't even done the psychiatric because the pod was quarantined for long enough and they weren't able to go around.
Which is not your fault, okay? You're just kind of a victim. I'm sorry?
They rescheduled it, I think, for next week.
It's on 1/3.
Yeah, and then it's we expect it back on the 13th.
Yes, around that time.
Around that time. And so and it's not your fault, Chloe, but it's still, it affects you. So
Chloe, yeah, I apologize it's taking so long. There's nothing you can do about it. There's really nothing I can do about it. This is one of those unfortunate things because of coronavirus and with the holidays and a whole bunch of other factors. Really, it's just kind of a bad luck situation. Okay. So keep up the good work. Keep up your behavior. So Chloe, this is just me heart to heart. Okay. I'm having trouble understanding why you can be level 1 outstanding here for 5 consecutive weeks. Then when you go somewhere else, it falls off, right? I mean, you see where I'm coming from on this one. It doesn't make sense because you can do it. So part of me says it may be a choice, but I don't think it is. So what I'm hoping is your experience here, at least you're able to kind of make those mental connections and figure out why is it here that you can live without a problem, but then when you go to placements or other places, it becomes a problem, right? Because if you be level 1 outstanding outside of here, then you and I never would have met. Miss
in
Abels.
placement, she does well too.
Yes, okay.
It's home. But I don't mean to be ugly or anything, but Chloe's never had.
We're trying to get the D.
She's never had a great home.
Right.
Okay. She's been passed around, and I'm sorry, Chloe, but she's been passed around from no stability. And so one reason she may be so well in this type of situation is it's stable.
Yeah.
But she makes really bad choices when she's out on her own, but she's a very polite, respectful, very nice, very nice to me, probably nice to probation. She just there's something in her mind that, overrides common sense sometimes.
Chloe, I'm just going to put this aside. Because I've always, ever since we first met at your original detention hearing, I always liked you. I don't know, there's something about you I really, really like. There's something remarkable about you. Doing this as a judge, I see all kinds of kids come in and out, right? And as a lawyer, I saw all kinds of people grow up that touch the criminal justice system. The most amazing stories are the ones that came from the most humble beginnings and overcame what they came through to rise up and do great things with their life. No one really is impressed by somebody who came from a very easy background and did great things because you know what? They had the easy. It's the ones that took adversity and did something despite the adversity. I can see you as the kind of person that will have an amazing story to tell. But some of that's going to have to, a lot of it, almost all of it has to come from you. You have to say, even though I had this background, this is what I did. And the reason why it's remarkable is because it's so easy to fall into the cycle and go from misery and stay in misery. The hard part is to start in misery and rise up to success. And you have whatever it is, something special inside you that you can do it, but you have to do it. Nobody else can do it for you. Because if somebody else could do it for you, it wouldn't be a special story. You see what I mean? You can have an amazing story about your life, but the only reason why you can do that is because of how tough as things have been. It's the fact that you rose above it is what made it special, okay? I just wanted you to think about that because I see inside you something just amazing and remarkable. and I want you to rise up, and I want you to have a great story to tell. Okay? All right, so you understand right now I'm waiting on the results, so I can't do anything.
Yes,
So,
and I have a question.
yes,
You said they were looking for a placement, correct?
I think so. I think that's what I was told.
I was wondering if it could be like a longer term placement until I could like figure out what's going on right now. Because
Do you have a caseworker?
I'm not sure, but I think my home environment right now is very unstable. My father just got out of jail. My mom is kind of working a lot more. My grandfather passed away, and then my grandma is kind of slumping down under depression. So I'm not sure that home environment is completely stable.
All right. You should have Ms. Hicks. Does she have a caseworker?
Placement unit right now has started their search, and we're waiting for the psychological, so they'll have a better idea of where they can start sending her information.
And Chloe, I'm mostly saying this to the judge, but I don't want it to scare you, but this may be a situation where if probation can't find her placement, we may have to go through CPS to find a placement. And the positive thing about that, Chloe, is they'll put you in a longer term placement.
And another thing is that I don't really mind if the best option for a placement or anything would have to be TJJD, because I don't mind that. I know that it might be the best option for me as well, because it's structured.
It is, and they provide these services, and they provide all the services. But Chloe, here's the thing, and I'm impressed how smart you are. So TJJD does provide all the services, and it's very structured, and it's long term. The problem is all the services in TJJD are focused around rehabilitation. And I don't think you're necessarily delinquent as much as you have trouble controlling impulse, which is covered a little bit in TJJD, but that's not as effective as the placements that the department has for that. You see where I'm going? So I want to make sure I don't send you to TJJD for something that can be handled in the community. And the law actually says I have to make a reasonable effort to find a placement in the community before I send you to TJJD.
Yes, sir.
So just let you know what my hands are tied. Judge, I can't just do whatever I want. Like I have rules I have to follow too. Okay, but it's encouraging to see that you you are looking at all the options. A lot more people need to be open-minded like that. Okay.
And there's a lot of people working on this, Chloe, to get you in the right place. And so having your input is very valuable.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you very much, Chloe.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. So we have Martin Herrera. All right, Martine, do we have a parent here for Martine?
Your Honor, that was actually Miss Moreno that you moved earlier. She was in a car.
Yeah, well, that's the way it goes. All right, Martine, I'm Judge Kim. It's a detention hearing. You've been here for 10 days, reviewing the case, deciding whether to release you. If I keep you, you see a judge every 10 days. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to an attorney. Ms. McGonigal is your attorney. Martine, we release you on electronic monitor. You tampered with my monitor while you were out. Now you're here, you're level 3, so I'm not going to release you. You're detained. Thank you, Martine.
Thank you, Judge.
Earl Mayes. Thank you, Ms. McGonigal.
Yes, Grandma.
All right. Do we have a parent for Mace?
Yes, Grandma is here, I believe. She waited for so long and she logged off, and I told her to log back in.
What is her name?
Denise Wilson.
Oh, there she is. She's been in the waiting room.
Yeah, she's been waiting for you long.
Hello, Miss Wilson. I let you in. You were late to court, so I don't really add people until this time. I'll check. might kind of close the waiting, or don't add people from the waiting room after court begins. So, but I'm glad you're here. All right, Darrell, this is a 10-day detention hearing. You've been here 10 days, reviewing your case, deciding whether to release you or keep you. If they keep you here, you see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. And Ms. Uzuihe is your attorney. Good morning, Ms. Uzuihe.
Honey, Your Honor.
Afternoon, I guess. All right. So, let's see. You're living outstanding. You have been for 3 weeks now. EPS trooper saw vehicle failing to signal, traffic stop. Driver said he was Kentrell Mays, born in 99. Officer confronted you on it. You said your birthday is 2004. Smelled weed from the vehicle. You said a little bit of weed inside.
She wasn't on the
So
this morning.
So there was a Ruger pistol under the driver's seat and a Celtic rifle in the trunk. And you had prior adjudications for robbery. And, you had warrants for you from Jefferson Parish, Louisiana. And they want to extradite you to Louisiana, stand trial for these offenses. And Jefferson Parish is ready to extradite you as soon as your Texas issues are resolved. And Texas is looking to certify you as an adult. So, Darrell, I feel like if I was to release you, what would happen is you would end up, you wouldn't get out of here. Louisiana would come and pick you up. You would face trial in Louisiana if you got sentenced to prison or juvenile commitment or whatever Louisiana has. Then you would be there potentially for years, and then you would not resolve your Texas case. So I've got you. I'm going to hold you until we resolve your case, and then when that's done, you'll go to Louisiana, take care of your business over there. All right? You have any questions, Mr. Mace? All right, Mr. Mace, and this is going forward. I'm not going to release you because I'm afraid you will not come back to court because of the Louisiana case. So as long as you're level 1-0, you can sign a waiver so you don't have to come to detention hearing. You have the right to a detention hearing. If you get tired of this coming back and forth or seeing me, then as long as you're level 1, you can tell your attorney that you're willing to waive and you don't have to come to the hearing, okay? And also, wait, let me see that again, Stephanie. 1 second.
Yes.
All right, Darrell, just to let you know, you turn 17 next month, okay? And so I don't know if you know this or not, but once you're 17 in Texas, I can hold you in the adult jail or the juvenile facility. And so if your behavior drops underneath level 1, so if you're level 2, I will have you housed in the downtown adult jail until this case is done. Okay, so I'm expecting you to stay here at Kimbo in the juvenile facility. You're basically earning your keep by being a good example to other kids by being level 1 outstanding. If your level drops, I will send you downtown and you'll stay there until they finish your case. You cannot make bail on a juvenile case, even if you're in the adult jail, just to make sure you understand, okay? So keep up the good work on the level 1 outstanding. Thank you, Mr. Mace.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Uzuihe. All right, Jade Motherweather waived. We have Ascari Montgomery.
Okay, now then be excused, Your Honor.
Yes, have a happy new year, Ms. Uzuihe.
Yes, Jamie, that was mine, but we got that one waived. So thank you, Your Honor, and Happy New Year.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Montgomery, do we have a pair for Montgomery?
Yes, Your Honor. What did you say?
No, for Montgomery.
Yes, I
can.
can.
Montgomery.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, she's supposed to be there, Judge.
All right, thank you. There we are.
Okay, you have somebody?
Yes, we do. Thank you, Ms. Uzuihe.
Thank you, Your Honor. God bless.
All right. Mr. Montgomery, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. Been here for 10 days, reviewing your case, deciding whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you have to see a judge every 10 days. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to an attorney. Ms. McGonigal is your attorney. She's here. Good morning. Good afternoon, Ms. McGonigal.
Good afternoon, Judge.
All right. So, 4th PD real-time crime center broadcast. Saw a car. See, stolen vehicle, verify the license plate, went to Forest Hill, 3 people got out of the car, ran, several people came there, pursued suspects in the perimeter, 3 people taken in custody, Malik Montgomery, Ascari Montgomery, Ascari was seen throwing a handgun into a yard, which is identified and recovered. So it was transported here. But this all happened while you're out because we received an out-of-custody referral for a stolen car case. So Ascari was driving the stolen vehicle around seminary. A female said, "Do you want the car?" He said, "Yes." I mean, it was a Lexus. Yeah, I'd say yes too, I guess. But also asked if it was stolen. But anyways, all right. So Ascari said he was driving to see his friend JJ, where the first vehicle was found. Placed under custody to arrest for stealing a car. So I guess you were on caseload since September. Seemed to have been doing well. But what else do you do? All right, so Mom, you're here, right?
Yes, sir.
What are we gonna do with this, Kari? I mean, it seems like he's making decisions going down the wrong path, right?
Yes, sir.
When I say the wrong path, I mean the path going to TDC. And you and I do not want that, right?
Yes, sir.
So, like, what's going to be different this time? What can we do different so that Ascari is respectful of the law, respectful of you?
For one, make sure he's off of that social media. That has a lot to do with it. Just being off the social media, because from my understanding, that's what it seems like you find something to get into, because even though school is in, it's a limit of people in the school, so it's not too much happening in the school.
Okay. So, Mom, do you work?
Yes.
Okay. So who would supervise Ascari when you're at work?
I would have to allow my friend to.
You trust this friend?
Yes.
You're level 1-0. You have been since December 5th. Glad to see that. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and release you. A couple things. One, no social media, all right? And you are going to give all the social media accounts and passwords to your probation officer, right? And your mom can have them too if she wants. And I'm sorry, Mom?
Then I was I don't know how to work all this stuff. Okay.
Okay. So our probation, we're gonna have access to that. If I find out that you are re-engaging on social media, right? Then we'll bring you back here. Okay. It would be the dumbest reason to come back to Kimbo is because you couldn't stay off of Instagram, right? That's the story you don't want to tell. They're all like, "Where did Ascari go?" You'd be like, "Oh, he posted a real video, and now he's back at Kimbo," right? I mean, you don't want people talking about you like that. So you don't be like Rodney, right? Don't be like old Rodney. So next thing is, I hope you understand when you throw a gun into a back fence, what if there's like a little 3-year-old kid back there, picks up the gun and shoots himself, right? I'm not saying it happened, but I'm just saying we have to be careful about what could happen with our decisions. Right? It may not have happened at all, but I just want you to think about that. Next thing is I'm going to put you on electronic monitor. You know there's a bunch of kids back there right now at Kimbo that cut off their EM, and they've been here for a while because they cut it off, right? What you don't know is there's a bunch of kids that had an EM, and they couldn't handle the situation. They had to walk outside. They broke the EM rules, but they never cut it off. Those kids come back, they don't stay for very long, right? Because they didn't make a bad situation worse. It was bad because they violated the EM. They could have made it worse by cutting it off, but they didn't. They decided This is as bad as it's going to get. Don't make the situation worse than it has to be, even if you make a mistake. All right? If you make a mistake, man up, face the music, take the consequences, and move on. Okay? So the reason why I held you for so long was because of the gun, and you know that, right? And so just, man, wait till you're 18. All right? Just don't play with guns when you're a kid. Don't hold them, don't touch them, don't be around them, because you know how I feel about it. Okay? All right, Ascari. So right now, are you asking me to give you another chance to prove to me that you can listen to your mom and follow her rules? You're asking me, right? I'm not telling you, like, you're asking me, and I'm giving you this opportunity, right? Okay, don't let me down, Ascari. You earned your way out by getting your behavior level up and showing you can do the right thing. All right, Mom, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, Mom,
Yes, sir.
I'm also expecting you. I need you. If he gives you any kind of attitude, any kind of problems, you let us know.
I sure will.
We'll always have a bed ready for him.
Okay. Thank
Okay, thank you.
Your Honor,
Yes.
he was participating in TCAP, which he found to be very beneficial and he enjoyed. Would you be agreeable to have time out on the monitor to continue in that program?
It is difficult. So TCAP and EM are a lot of times mutually exclusive because a lot of what TCAP does is spontaneous and can't be planned. If we can make it work, I'm okay with making it work, but we need to do EM for at least 30 days. If we need to suspend TCAP to finish the EM 30 days, then we need to. But the EM is part of this release just because of the evading part. And it seems like Mom, he's running around doing a lot of things that he shouldn't be when he's supposed to be home. And the fact that Mom works and can't necessarily supervise him. So the EM's more important. But if he makes it 30 days without a problem, we can go back to TCAP.
Okay, great. Thank you, Judge.
Judge,
Yes.
can I interject? Well, since he was in detention, he was unsuccessfully discharged from TCAP, so I have to make a new referral anyway, and he goes to court next week as well. So
Okay. All right, Ascari, we'll see you next week.
Okay, thank
you, Judge.
Nevaeh Potter.
Right here, Judge.
All right, Ms. Potter, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. You've been here 10 days. I'm reviewing your case, deciding whether to keep you here.
TCAP is not what we normally acronym it as. I know that's sort of floating around the chat. I believe it's the Texas. Well, my brain says Texas Children's After School Program, but I doubt that. But well, let's see. Texas Coalition for Animal Protection. No. Yeah. JPD Lopez does look like she's just had the worst day. She's like, I don't want to be here today. Okay. Let's continue on, but I think honestly, if I look something up right now on my computer, I'll probably break the stream as it goes, so I'm not gonna do that. But one of you guys will, and then you'll put it in there. I would Google TCAP Juvenile Texas Court, and then it would probably come out. Also, you know what, you guys, here's one thing that I did want to mention. You guys were saying who was the oldest in the chat, and I'll tell you that they don't tell you exactly that, but they do give me analytics, and I'll just say everybody's older than me pretty much, which is hilarious to me. Anyways, again, I'm not going to do that. That's another ADD thing. We're going to finish this. So close. Let's just finish it. I spilled all that water. I cleaned it all up. Nana's none the wiser. She's watching Breaking Bad. Okay, we good.
Release you if I keep you here, then you see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to attorney. Mr. Youngblood is your attorney. So let's see. Forward.
And there's my fabulous chat coming through in the clutch, the Tarrant County Advocacy Program. Thank you, Prissy. Thank you, CRD. That is probably absolutely what it is. So what I would assume is it's a similar program to something that my dad was doing, which is an intensive support supervision for a person that's been released, but that he was saying it's mutually exclusive to, or it excludes having an EM on because there's a lot of random things that you would do within it. Anyways, I'm happy to hear of all your ages and all those fun things. I had a child when I was 20, so I always say that adds about 10 years. And then I've watched about 1 billion hours of court now, so I have a lot of people's life experiences sort of laid out in front of me, as we all do. You sort of learn a few different things here and there. Um, let's do what I've said and finish. Also, now I get to claim my wash my floor tonight.
PD referred you saying victim agreed to meet you on through social media. You were lured into the apartment. Well, Mr. Houston, this is your case, right here.
Yes, sir.
Was it lured? Was it like sexual promises?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So client was lured in apartment. 3 males attacked the victim. He was punched repeatedly in the face. One pointed a silver handgun. So he turned over his car keys. Stolen vehicle was tracked. Copper Creek. They found 3 males in the other stolen car. She was identified by the photograph she used in social media contacting the victim. And so there was a active warrant because you were on probation for burglary. All right. Yeah, Davija. Do we have a parent here?
Yes.
Okay, hello, Miss Blake.
Hello.
Miss Blake. I'm just curious. Did you know she was out that night, or had she snuck out?
It was in the afternoon. I was at work.
Yeah, this is. I need to let you know if this is true. I don't know if it's true or not. That's just what the police say. When I was an attorney, I had a capital murder case where a girl would do that. She was just the bait, the lure, and unknown to her, the guys that were hitting their licks and robbing the people that she brought over, they ended up just executing a guy, just shooting him. She had no idea. She went to TDC for 22 years. Okay? So even though you have no intention of somebody getting hurt or killed, in Texas, there's something called law of parties. You would be responsible for everything that they do. So if this actually in fact happened, you need to be aware of the dangerous game that you're playing. Okay? So at this point, I'm just very concerned that you're going to run away, that you're going to harm other people if I was to release you. I see your level of understanding. I'm glad you are. But this is such a serious offense, I'm not comfortable releasing you yet. Okay? So at this point, I'm detaining you.
Judge, Mom wanted to tell you something that's a change in her circumstance, a pretty serious change.
Okay, Mom.
Yes, I was letting them know. I told the P also she was running away before quite a bit because I was in a very abusive relationship. He's locked up now. They gave him 25 years for aggravated assault on me. So I don't know if that's gonna cause her to stay home. I can't say for sure, but I know she was not comfortable with the situation at home. Not cause the crime that was on her own, but staying at home, yeah, I'm not sure, but I think that would help.
Okay. At future hearings, remind me if I'm on the fence, that's the kind of thing that would push me to one side or the other, right? On the good side. Right now, because of how serious the offense is, stolen car with the jumping, and the fact that she's using, I guess, sexual guile to lure somebody, that concerns me because, I'm just not comfortable with. She's using her body for illegal gain. Is my concern. That's what it boils down to. It's not necessarily prostitution, but she's using her body for illegal gain. I just don't. That really makes me just pause. Devisha, do you have a question?
Devisha, don't talk to him about what happened in your offense, but if you have a question, I believe he will allow you to ask it.
Yeah. Don't tell me something, but if you want to ask me something, but ask means it starts with who, what, when, where, how. Okay. So do you want to ask me something?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What's your question?
I was wondering if I could have got on the monitor, cause I can't stop it, cause so I was wondering if I could have got on the monitor until my court date.
So if I release you, it would be on a monitor, okay? But remember, the monitor doesn't keep you from running away. Kids cut off the monitor all the time. You know girls back there that have cut off their monitor, okay? So the monitor by itself doesn't guarantee that you'll be where you're supposed to be. It's just how serious this crime is. There's certain levels of crime. You know, if this was like you're just a passenger in a stolen car, right? This wouldn't stress me. If it was weed, this wouldn't stress me. But the fact that there was a robbery, that if it's true that you actually set up somebody being jumped, and the fact that you're using your body to set that up, that really worries me. Okay, because you're doing that, you're only one step away from human trafficking and prostitution, and that is a scary, scary thing for a girl your age. And your mom gets it; she understands how this plays out. So, okay. So, just Deja, this is from how serious the offense is. You may not have realized at the time, if this is true, you may not have realized at the time how serious this was. This is just about as serious as it gets. That's why I'm being extra cautious with you. Okay?
And Judge, I have one question for professionals who might be listening.
Yes.
I have in my notes that there was a placement search going on for this case, but I've never seen an answer. Is that true? And is there an answer?
I saw notes that there was a search going on. I don't know if has there been Mr. Ansley, would you know?
Your Honor, a placement search has been initiated. Several facilities are looking at her information at this time.
All right, so we're in the process, Mr. Youngblood.
Thank you, Judge. I'm asked to be excused and wish
Oh,
you
yes.
a happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, Mr. Youngblood. Thank you. All right, thank you, Division.
All right. Yeah.
Lita Saberi.
Your Honor, her mother's not gonna be able to be online today.
Okay. All right, Lita. Well, Judge Kim, this is a 10-day hearing deciding whether to keep you or release you. If I can't keep you here, you see a judge every 10 days while you're here. So you are scheduled for admission into placement on January 7th, right? And you understand with the quarantines, if I let you go, you have to come in here and stay here 2 weeks before we can send you to placement. So we're almost there. You got a week left before you go to placement. And hopefully you've been thinking about it, thinking about your situation, and realize if you can actually make change and make good decisions. Once you're in placement, you can finish your probation and never see me again. All right. Lita, do you have any questions for me right now?
You said I'm finna leave on January
I can't hear you. Can you say that again?
You said I'm finna leave on January 7th.
That's what it's scheduled for. Things can always change with coronavirus, but that's what the schedule is right now. But even if I was, I'm not going to let you go, but even if I was, whenever I let you go, the day you come back in, you have to stay here for 2 weeks before you can go to placement, right? So I just need to hold you here until, for the quarantine period before you can go to placement. Okay? All right. Thank you, Lita. All right, we have Wesley Smith. I think we have Lynn Smith in the waiting room.
And she may be on YouTube. She may have had to go to work. Wesley's on level 3, so they know he's not coming home. He's obviously not taking this seriously.
Right.
If we could waive on a level 3, we'd do it. I would do it in a minute.
I understand.
So, he just needs to be detained.
No, I understand. Here's your candidate. So Wesley, this is a detention hearing, deciding whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you here, you'll see a judge every 10 days. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. So Wesley, you're level 3. If you can't behave here, you're not going to behave at home. So I'm going to go ahead and detain you. All right?
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Ms. Abel.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Mr. Smith, did you have a question for me? You would tell me something.
Nah, I want to talk to Ms. Azel. I'm just going to ask her if she'd give me a call when she has a chance.
I will.
All right. Thank you.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lynn.
You okay? Is it nice? Better than the Catholic funeral. Nevaeh Tennyson.
Right here, Judge.
Nevaeh, I'm Judge Kim. This is a 10-day hearing. You've been here for 10 days. I'm reviewing your case, deciding whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you'll see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to attorney. Ms. Hamrick is your attorney. And
Right here.
good afternoon, Ms. Hamrick.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
All right, so Nevaeh, December 3rd, I had an out-of-custody hearing for you. You left home on December 1st, about 1. And you left in a car that she doesn't know how you got. You didn't come back till 2:30 in the morning. So, let's see, I ordered a psychiatric and psychological. Psychological scheduled for November 5th due the delay because of the coronavirus. We We gave you the opportunity to do an out-of-custody psychological, but we refused. Prior to detaining you, you were skipping virtual school. You had a vape pen in your pocket at school, and only follows the rules at home whenever you want to. Disrespectful to mom, and told her you can't wait till she dies so you can piss on her grave. So, yeah, mom's concerned about you because you're running a scam on OfferUp, advertising guns, then getting people to pay and then ripping them off. Doesn't recognize your mom as parent, so you don't accept her supervision or authority. And we're concerned that if we release you for out of custody, psychological and psychiatric, you would not come back. And you're on probation for theft. So, but, well, Ms. Thomas, so
Yes,
sir.
she's level 1 outstanding as of yesterday. How far did she drop down?
She was, she was level 2. Okay, on 12/24, she was level 3 outstanding.
So what happened?
She was level 3 from 12/13 to 12/19. Not following instructions, talking to peer without permission, argumentative with staff, refused to comply with instructions to put crayons in the bag, shutting door without permission, talking without permission a lot.
Mom, sounds like your daughter, doesn't it? All right, well, you know, Nevaeh, we're at this point now where you are here in a lockdown facility. We monitor you 24/7. You have very minimal rules, but they're the very basics. If you follow them, your level goes up and you're level 1 outstanding. If you don't, then your level drops. And if you keep on pushing, because you're going to do it your way, your level continues to drop until you're confined. At that point, you can't lose points because you're not interacting with anybody. So let me explain why I am so obsessed with these behavior levels. Because if you're level 1 outstanding here and you can keep it, that means you know how to do this. You know how to follow the rules, the do not associates, the quick to comply, all those things. And so I can release you to mom because you can follow her rules. But if you can't follow the rules here, you cannot follow the rules at home. I'm not going to put you back with your mom for you to disrespect her. Just not going to do it. Your mom and I have never met. We don't know each other. We don't know anything about each other other than our names. But I'm not going to place a kid with their parents to disrespect their parents. I expect more from every kid in Tarrant County, at least the ones that come in front of my court. So prove to yourself that you can follow the rules. I'll give you the chance. I promise I will give you the chance. But if you're not going to follow the rules here and be level 1 outstanding, then you're not going to be following the rules and be level 1 outstanding with your mom. And if you're not going to do that, I'm not going to put you back home. So really, the whole point of me talking and saying all this is it's up to you. Whenever that you flip the switch and decide you're going to just do what you're supposed to do, then you go home. But until you do that, you're not going home. So you'll stay here as long as it takes. Mom, how old is she?
She's 15 going
15.
on.
All right, so we got a couple more years. We got like 3 more years that you can stay here at Kimbo. Or it could be 3 more days. Like you just decide, I'm going to follow the rules and you go home. Or you can be here all the way to your 18th birthday because you refuse to follow the rules. So it's really just laid out that simple. So if you want to fight and I'm the jerk and the jackwagon and the guy who's ruining your life, I'm just letting you know, I don't care. I mean, it's just up to you. Make the decision to do right and you get out. If you're going to fight the system and hold on and just be stubborn about it, you're going to lose this one. I sleep in my bed every night. You don't. All right? All right, Ms. Tennyson, do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, she has her evaluation scheduled on the 6th.
Yes, I think the 7th. Yeah, so she has the evaluation, and if there's prescriptions given by the doctor, then she will have to take her prescriptions. Otherwise, she won't get to level 1 because that's one of the rules. You'll lose points by not taking your medicine as prescribed. And then maybe that helps her, and that puts her in a situation to go back home to you. But if she doesn't take your medicine with you, then you just let us know when we bring her back here. So this is a consequence of her decisions. This can go on for several more years. I would like a normal, healthy relationship with you and your daughter. Yeah. And normal, healthy relationship between mom and daughter also means fights and arguments. I mean, right? That just happens with moms and daughters. but a normal arguments. No, I want you to die so I can piss on your grave. That's not normal or healthy. Okay.
She has another court date on the 6th, an actual court date.
She may, but I don't think anything's going to happen if the evaluations aren't back. We'll need the evaluations to get a full social history for her. Which, Stephanie, if that's the case, we can just reset this January 6th study. Hey, Mom, do you have any questions for me?
No, not at this time.
All right. So, Nevaeh, do you have any questions for me? If you want to tell me something, you probably shouldn't, but if you have a question for me, I don't mind answering. No questions?
Give her a second, Judge.
Oh, okay.
She's thinking.
Oh, sure.
No, got nothing to say. She's nervous, Judge Kim.
Okay. Nevaeh, I don't mind answering your questions. I know I'm tough, but I'm also very fair. And as long as you're respectful to me, I will always be respectful to you. Okay. There's a couple kids I'm kind of disrespectful to, but they kind of earned it. So, and
level 1, sir.
I'm sorry?
I'm a level 1 already.
Yes, but you can't just reach it because your past behavior was so bad and so extreme that just hitting that mark isn't enough. You have to hold it for a little while to show me that you're able to maintain it, because there are kids that manipulate the system and that get to level 1 and go home and keep up the same thing. Now, for you right now, I need these evaluations because I feel like there may be a deeper issue here that you may need medication. So I want to release you with the best chance of success. I don't want to set you up for failure. Okay? But I appreciate that you're level 1 though. The fact that you're there without medication tells me that that's good news. Okay? That's really good news. Do you have any other questions for me? No? Okay. All right. Well, we'll see you next week, and hopefully the evaluations will come back, and then we can find out where to go from here. Mom, no questions still?
No, not at this time, Judge.
Never took it though, sir.
I'm sorry? I just didn't hear what you said, Nevaeh.
Never took like the thing. The evaluation. Yeah.
Montgomery, I'm having trouble understanding her. What did she say?
Yeah, I don't want to. She has a difficult time expressing herself sometimes, Judge Kim. It takes her a minute. She has to think her thoughts through before she speaks. She was saying she already took her evaluation. No.
Okay. Oh, okay. So, Nevaeh, what's happening is
I didn't take it either. You didn't take it. She did not take it.
Okay. No. Okay. Now, once you take the evaluation, it takes about a week to get the reports back. Okay. So, it's not like you take the evaluation and it's over. Like, we have to wait for the doctor to write the reports. Okay. Did you have any other questions, Nevaeh?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. Ms. Tennyson, you actually, deep down inside, you have a wonderful daughter. We need to find a safe way to bring her back home. Okay?
I totally agree. That's the plan. I want it to be a success and not, reverting and going back to the same thing. I want it to, because it's been a toxic environment. And so it just hasn't been good.
Yeah. We'll get there.
Yeah.
We got about 3 years to get there.
Yeah, well, she'll be 16 in June. So
okay. It's a little more than 2 years, 2.5 years to get there. But a lot of it's just when Nevaeh decides it's time. And then it's time. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. That will conclude Detention Docket for December 30th. Everyone have a Happy New Year. We'll see you on Monday.
Thank you, Judge.
New Year, Your Honor.
Happy New Year.
So that last case is heartbreaking. I think, well, I don't know. There was many heartbreaking cases tonight. There always are, unfortunately. But also, I think it's very important that we see these cases. We see these children. We see their experiences, and we recognize that happened to them. Because some of the stuff I have seen and we have seen watching court, if people told us that without video, we wouldn't believe. We really wouldn't. I've seen judges do things. I've seen lawyers do things. We've all seen it. So I think bearing witness to these things is important. Judge Kim had a very so a lot of judges in the United States are elected judges, which means they run in an election where they actually get votes, they campaign, and they're elected on a popular vote. They then have to defend that seat in the next time they have to go up for election. So there is this persona that an elected judge has to have. Oftentimes, though, that's really been mitigated from the general population from seeing that type of thing because of how narrowly accessible court has been. Really, unless you were in trouble, you weren't seeing court before, or unless you're in the legal system. And so, what some judges have embraced and others have hated is the fact that this is a very bright light that is allowed to be looked on a courtroom and examined, ad nauseum in reality. But I think it's important. I also think that there's some really simple ways that we could make court better online and offline. There's one thing I remember. I've been watching court since before COVID. The first case I ever really got totally involved in was the Casey Anthony case back in 2008, 9, 10. And I watched every minute of that case, and it was, thanks, Nana. Like, be louder. I'm just kidding. I watched every bit of that case from in a Florida news website chat with a chat. It had 30,000 people in it. Usually it was a very busy chat, but the camaraderie of watching these things with others is what I think makes it palatable for a lot of people, because these are serious situations. Casey Anthony case, my daughter was born in December of 2008. That's right when they found her body. Like, she'd been missing that whole time. I was like beyond invested. And then I watched every bit of it. And I remember when that verdict came in, I legitimately was thrown off. Like, I was off kilter for a while. And I'm planning on revisiting that. I have to check out I don't even know where to get the source material for that, but I want to rewatch it again in its entirety, because now, having watched so much court online, the theatrics that happened in that courtroom were 1 in a million. Keeper just said there is a bear in their yard. Keeper. Bears like pop. I just read an article recently where a bear broke into a car, stole 69 cans of pop. Yeah, like that was a mistake. And then drank them. It's all on video. He stopped once the pop became diet pop. Seriously. So anyways, I really appreciate having you all here. I know some of you may be here for the first time tonight, which is really cool. Hi. I hope your country shows up on my analytics soon. I read through them and I see where everybody's from, what cities have the highest view time. If you guys would like to work on getting your city's view time up. And just seeing where everybody's from. I just love that part, honestly. I'm from the west coast of Canada, so literally it's only 10 o'clock and I'm not going to bed. I promised Miss Amy a special long night tonight, and I am going to provide that. But I am thinking of my YouTube daddy, who I am trying to set up a relationship with. He is being super, hard to get a hold of. But so I am probably going to stop this stream and then start a new one. And then guess what? I'm so aware that I'm going to lose some of you. First of all, if that's you because you get lost, That seems like you might not be subscribed. So that's an easy problem to fix. Subscribe now, and then you'll see the next live. If you get lost because, like, you're going to bed, that's okay too. We don't shame in here for being up late or not being able to sleep or whatever time it is. I don't really care. I'm up late. I work best in the middle of the night. And so this is how we roll. Thirdly, if you just don't come back because you don't want to, because the next one's not going to be about court. That's the other thing I'm doing totally out of the blue, which is something not about court. But I'm going to anyways because I want to, and I want to. So I'm going to, in a moment, stop this stream and I will start a new one. The room and the vibe will be very, very similar. You want me to show the bear? I don't know what the copyright. I'll show the bear in the next stream because the next stream I'm just gonna like not worry about any issues in terms of copyright. So that would, because I don't know the rules yet. It's very hard to figure them out. Anyways, look at Judge Kim's face. He's like so happy. That was a roller coaster ride, by the way. And Keeper, are you okay? Like, what kind of bear is it? Did you put an ad on Craigslist again? And somebody showed up? I'm laughing so hard. In my head. You know what I mean. Aurora. I was so into Breaking Bad, she made me buy her another Netflix account because I don't even have Netflix. She's like, oh, it's not good. She's gonna be like calling out things all over the place. Anyways, I will make myself look bigger. Oh, right now, I'm not even wearing any makeup, folks, and my lighting is off because I'm not really good at this. Let's see. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I am gonna end this stream. There's 55 of you here still, like the streaming YouTuber person of me was like, "Are you stupid? Why would you do that?" But then the like new KCC is just like, "Yeah, this is the way it's going. The party is where I am. Follow, like, subscribe." Where we are actually, I think, is the seriousness. No, it's not. You can't remember who's where. I'm in my kitchen. I don't know if anybody else is doing it from their kitchen other than like cooking YouTubers. Nana does not want to be interviewed. I think I have done. Oh, I may have a video that I can play of me interviewing Nana. Do you guys remember that trend that happened on TikTok recently where you like, not recently, this was like 6 months ago, where I have some really funny stories about Nana. Bye, Jacqueline. Have a really good night. Nana, okay, here's a very quick story. When I was like 5 years old, maybe 5 years old, my Nana took us to Florida to go to Disney World with our cousins. So you have to keep in mind, this is my Nana. So my grandmother, my daughter's great grandmother. And so, oh, good. The bear's gone. Keep her safe, guys. We're good. So she took us to Florida and we got chicken pox. Like we arrived and we had chicken pox. So who's Nana? Nana's my Nana, literally my Nana. And so we got there, we had chicken pox, and did she like quarantine us? No. Did she like make sure that we didn't go and like infect everybody? No, not at all. She took calamine lotion in a fanny pack into Disney World and paraded us through. Oh my goodness. Now I know that chickenpox isn't contagious after is it not contagious after it's visible or something? Anyways, I don't know. I've got a whole rant about chickenpox too. I don't want to get demonetized or shut down because I bitch about that because It's just I've had shingles before when I was 26, which was like hell on earth. Like seriously, hell on earth. She didn't throw a chickenpox party. She basically started a fucking thing in Disney World. Like that's a lot of place. That's a big place. I have a VHS of that trip in this house that I cannot play because I don't have a VCR. We will watch it once I get a VCR. Yeah, funny. Also, um, after the scabs are gone, Amy, is that how it works? The thing is, you don't really want a chickenpox party nowadays because most people have been vaccinated against chickenpox, and what happens is that you're not exposed on a regular basis to the varicella virus, which is the one that causes shingles and chickenpox. Now, if you've never had chickenpox, you can't get shingles. You have to have chickenpox before you can get shingles. They're required. But once you've had chickenpox, you can get shingles. It used to be the case that adults didn't get shingles until they were in their late 60s and 70s. And oftentimes that was because as they were exposed to regular children throughout their course of lives, they were exposed and sort of re-upped their antibodies to the varicella virus, and so they weren't as susceptible to the shingles thing. But then now you don't get exposed that much, so bam, you can get shingles really young, like me. And I am all about immunization. I think it's important. However, I was like, dang, shingles was horrible. I could not wear a bra for like 3 months almost. And I only had like 2 dots on my back. It was horrible. On your face is serious. Like that's intense. Also, shingles taught me something though, because what shingles is nerve pain. And nerve, like I didn't really know what nerve pain was. And when I first felt it, I was like, oh, and it was explained to me, and I was like, well, when I like watch a video of somebody get hurt or like watch a story, like read or like hear about somebody getting hurt, I feel nerve pain up the back of my legs. And I just thought that was like normal, like the way that everybody was. But apparently that's only like 1 in 20, like a 25% of people that have like a empathic nerve pain, where when you see somebody else get hurt, you have a shooting of nerves go through your body. And I didn't know it was nerve pain until I had shingles. And I was like, well, damn, I've been having this kind of shooty pain all the time. Anyways, yeah, I probably have I have many disorders. My ADHD, which is what we're going to be talking about in the next video. And one of the most formative videos that I ever watched about ADHD. It's important, I think, and something that people with ADHD would do well watching, and people with those in their family. Also, while we're talking about weird things about me, I have aphantasia. Aphantasia means that I don't see any images in my brain. Visually, I literally, until about 6 months ago, I mean, I thought every term like picture this or keep that in mind, or all those different terms were very euphemistic. I really didn't know that like 95% of the world sees pictures in their brain when they close their eyes. It's just always black when I close my eyes. And I know Gracie, I don't know if she's still in the chat, but she has the same thing. And honestly, you compensate because your imagination works totally fine, but you don't ever use images within it. And so I sort of see it as a bit of a superpower because you can close your eyes and see just as well as with your eyes open and think, and your whole brain works just the same with, it really perplexed me, like why they would say to people, close your eyes and concentrate, or even things like studying for tests. Like it was very odd to me. I never understood why that was supposed to work. And it wasn't until recently that I found that even my daughter does indeed have images in her brain, and I definitely don't. But what is cool and what I find interesting is that I have a feeling in my brain, and that feeling happens anytime. So there's two things. If you're trying to identify somebody with aphantasia, or you wonder if you might have it, the first distinguishment that you need to make is between visualizing or like seeing an image versus thinking or imagining something, because people with aphantasia have already bypassed this deficit and just moved on to figuring out a different way of doing it. So when a teacher says, imagine this, I imagine something, but I've never seen a picture in my brain. I've never seen anything. So the test often says, like, close your eyes and imagine an apple. Well, for me or somebody with aphantasia, similarly, you might find that you're just sort of waiting for the next input of information to further develop what thought they want or what they want you to think about. Whereas, and like literally people with visual imagery are able to close their eyes, I'm told, and then bring like an apple to mind. I can describe to you what an apple looks like. I can tell you what physical characteristics an apple has, but there's no seeing that apple any better with my eyes closed or open. So I think that there's two things also. If you find meditation also doesn't work very well for you, then that might be why as well. So for example, like I always wondered, why do they say like picture yourself on a white, or picture a white room, or picture a white, you're on the beach. And I was like, why does nobody just say think of a black space? Because it's just black. Like I would be immediately doing it if you said see black, so and it's amazing to me that some people see everything as an image. And so and it's now made so much more sense when people find that I say a lot. I verbalize a lot. I use weird terms. I think in different ways. And I think that's because there's no visual imagery in my mind. I can unsee everything. There's never anything that's, scarred in my brain visually. I also learned that some people don't have an internal voice or like running monologue in their brain. Like literally it's quiet. Like to me already it's dark. So if it was quiet and dark, that would be scary. Anyways, so visual imagery is also one of the really basic executive functions that develops with children and develops with people for social skills. And so it can really impact the number of social interactions you're able to successfully have, unless you are very good at masking and mimicking, which is something that you can learn. I've learned, and I'm good at communicating with people, but I never knew I had a deficit. I literally never knew I was missing something that most people think is so standard. They don't even think to ask a child if they have it or not. I have a friend who's a teacher, and she now polls each of her classes in a really sort of unscientific way, but she does a visualization exercise. Then at the end, she sort of asks who actually saw it and who didn't. And the way she phrases it is sort of more open to allowing a child to say, like, no, I didn't see that. Like, there was not actually anything there. Like, you have to imagine, or you have to think, like, imagination to me was literally nothingness. Whereas now I realize visual imagination obviously is very important for kids, I imagine. I say imagine all the time. And I say phrases like, oh, I used to say I can't unsee that. And I'll say phrases like, picture this, or I'm picturing that. I'm not. What I mean is I'm thinking of it, but that's sort of how that goes. Oh, the other thing is songs. Like, evidently, basically any voice I hear in my head is my voice, which means the singing is meh, right? Like, even if I've got a tune stuck in my head, it's me singing that tune. Apparently, that's not normal either. What? I just got off Lyrica, by the way, guys, or gabapentin. I was on it for like 5 years. So it works really well for a lot of things, but I got off of it. Things you can't unsee, but I can, right? Anyways, guys, you're all still here. You're gonna come to the next one. I know you are. It's gonna be a little totally different vibe. It's more of a presentation, and I find it super valuable. I rewatch it all the time, and I think that some of you might find it the same. So give me like 2 minutes to shut this one down, restart it back up, and then we will get going. I appreciate all of you for being here. Seriously, dreams come true. This is one of them for me, and I am privileged and honored to sit here and talk with you guys about this kind of stuff. I find it really, really interesting and engaging, and it proves to my Nana that I have real friends. I swear, they're real, Nana. They're gonna come back. I have to hold on. I don't know if I can make the link before you leave. Let me see if I can make this link before you guys leave, okay? You gotta just like bear with me at this point. What time is it? Okay, we'll do it at 10:35. Oh my god, I think I'm gonna do this on the fly, guys. Okay. Now, what I need though, can somebody run to my channel? Oh no, I can do it right here. Sorry, I'm not calling you bitches. I'm calling me a bitch. Yes. Oh my god, I did it. I'm a real YouTuber. I'm a real YouTuber, guys. As I hear myself say that again. Okay, guys. So I posted the link here. I'll post it again. Please come over. Make yourself a tea or a coffee or a drink or whatever you want. And then come learn some things about ADD with me. It'll be fun, I promise. She can't edit. I can edit. Viking, I want to learn. I've tried so hard. I did edit today. I posted a bunch of videos. I did really hard work. And then I went live and I'm still going live because I'm keeping y'all company tonight. And Keeper, we are thinking of you absolutely. Amy too. Everybody. I think of you guys very often. I want y'all to know that. That's true. So, okay. Run potty first and then we're going to the next stream. Okay, guys? We'll see you soon.